being discussed. That Google Drive is fucking abhorrent, and what he put her through is inexcusable. You'll notice Will refers to someone here named Mia, and that's his ex-girlfriend, a fellow British YouTuber who put out a statement just before Will did, writing that this was something she had been aware of since May of last year. It's something that, in her opinion, was well known throughout the industry, writing, "I can't speak for people who aren't in our group or who I don't see regularly, but the openness at which this was discussed among people last year, I genuinely find it hard to believe that creators close to Alex had no idea this was going on. When I found out, Alex and I were signed to the same talent agency. I immediately made them aware of the accusations and put pressure on them to drop him, which they did." This was June 2023, by the way. From the documents in the drive, it looks like things escalated even further from what I was aware of. Emotional abuse, threats of violence, use of racial slurs, which is so heartbreaking. I don't know Alice personally, but sending her so much love and support, she concluded. Then you have the myriad of statements put out by Fraser iNabber. The first reading should say, "Yeah, I know about the situation and hope you all send nothing but support to Alice. Genuinely some of the most horrific shit I've ever read. Cannot explain how brave it is to come out and speak about this stuff, especially considering how long it seemed to have been going on. Really trying not to come in here with the eyes and make it all about me, as this is about Alice, and she deserves all the support possible. But yeah, I should just say, of course I didn't know about this until recently. I wasn't even aware the two had fully broken up until April. That's how in the dark I was on this." He later provided a series of screenshots of the apparent timeline of him learning about the claims, which seemed to begin on April 16th. He explained, "Back when Alex was living with the people he lived with, I didn't really speak to him much." I think he means I didn't really speak to him much, but I could be wrong. Dude kind of went MIA other than YouTube stuff, as he had a new set of friends, which was pretty normal. Only summer year, Alex started properly interacting with us in a server to play games. I've always been friends with him, seen Alex about once since 2023. The dude never discussed personal stuff with us, solely just YouTube and games. Fraser showed that he thought they were still together as of March 2024, and it suspected they kept breaking up and trying to work on things when refollowing each other and unfollowing. But the man never wanted to discuss it with us, ever, emphasizing he had literally zero idea what was going on, a refusal to talk about it, but no indication of the true extent. They were still making videos together, as was him and his old friend group, until early 2024, so really had nothing to go off. Then in April, when he says he finally began to catch wind of something going on, Fraser had an hour-long call with Alex in which he was told about a toxic relationship. And from there to now, he claims he and others were trying to work out what the hell was going on. He says, "With this Alice situation, I personally was kept in the dark on it for such a long time. I think what makes me feel truly guilty is I genuinely thought those two were really happy together until me and my friend saw signs they kept falling out via unfollows and TikTok reposts." Fraser also acknowledged that even before this situation, Alex has been involved in a lot of stuff, but I've always been loyal to him as a friend, he admits, and tried to stick by him, even if he was perceived as a dickhead by a great many of people. Me and that man used to argue and fall out a lot, but last year when we started playing games together, I genuinely thought he was becoming a much better person and happier person, and I thought that was because he had finally settled down with someone, and that thought now makes me feel ill and an overwhelming amount of guilt. Me, my friendship group, Alex, and even Alice used to play games together quite a lot, and now looking back on what was going on genuinely fucking shocks me and makes me feel so ill. Sorry to make these stories about myself, but I just thought I'd explain a brief timeline of events for further understanding. Me and Alex had a very toxic friendship, he continues. I would prefer to keep that private for the most part, but with all these clips, recordings, messages, and the document, I read them for the first time this week too, and that makes me feel more sick. The fact I got zero honesty even in the end. The whole thing is just awful, and again, nothing but my support goes out to Alice. Concluding, I think what makes me feel really disturbed is being genuinely worried about him as a friend between December and March of this year. I noticed he was upset a lot more when we played games or discussed YouTube and calls, and I, plus others in the group, tried being there as a mate, even asking him what was up quite a lot, never got an answer. So instead, we just played games and hoped things would get better for him. Just a mate supporting another mate who was going through it mentally. Just so fucked up knowing why he was actually upset. But yeah, honestly, that's as much as I can really say, and that's basically the whole timeline. Nearly the entire community spoke out amidst this recent storm of allegations, even prompting the return of the Baited podcast in an episode which, in true Baited spirit, devolved into an argument between Keem and Cloud, fighting over Pyrocynical this time instead of $5,000. Quiet fired up a stream of his own, where he revealed Alex had actually stolen a boy from him a few years back, and Slazo returned to Twitter to post this single GIF mere hours after Alice's document dropped. It really seemed as though anyone and everyone was speaking up. Everyone except Alex. At the time of me writing this script, in the middle of September 2024, a grand total of 93 days have passed since Alice first published her allegations against I'm Alex. By the time you watch this video, it'll be well over 100 days since we last heard from Alex publicly. As if the testimony of several women, along with a mammoth pile of evidence complete with screenshots, videos, and audio recordings, didn't implicate him enough, the radio silence Alex has exhibited over this exhausted span of 3 months hasn't exactly been the best indicator of his innocence. A cursory glance at the man's social blade is a clear reflection of this. The people have largely made up their minds, and it seems Alex has allowed them to do so. But could he still make a comeback? Well, being the self-described internet sensation that he is, I can't imagine he's taking this blow to his reputation lightly. And I wouldn't put it past him to eventually return in some capacity later on down the line. Whether that means he's waiting for the heat to die down before he tries to revamp his career mini-lad style, or he plans to quietly slither back into the limelight on a separate channel under a completely new identity, I wouldn't put anything past a snake like Alex. According to those I've spoken to who know him personally, Alex is someone with little interest in anything that doesn't provide him the instant gratification that YouTube always offered. Whatever skills or passions he may possess have always been confined to the most derivative slop the algorithm favors, which is to say, I have no idea where he goes from here. A few months after everything was made public, Alice stated on Twitter that the police investigation had finally concluded and that she is now technically allowed to release even more evidence of her claims. When I reached out to Alice for further comments, she had this to say. I mentioned in my statement I wouldn't be releasing anything until he ever responded and tried to avoid accountability or twist the narrative to get out of what he's done to me, because that's what he's threatened he would do, and realistically I think there's enough evidence out there for everyone to know and understand how he was to me and as a person. As far as the police investigation goes, it's been dropped. Police don't do anything about situations like this. They never have, unless I took this to court or he contacted me again. But he has been put down in the system, so anyone who knows how Claire's Law works can use this information to stay safe from him, aka new girlfriends, etc. To request information on any previous abusive reports on him, thank God, and those were my intentions in the first place, to save anyone who gets involved with him ever again, because going by this all, he was shit to every girlfriend he ever had. It just so happens I got the worst of it. Physical and the emotional abuse and manipulation was by far worse. So I couldn't imagine what he would do to the next one, because he actively avoids getting any help or believing he is dangerous. It's hard to deny that Alice has already produced enough mountains of receipts that would make it incredibly hard for Alex to twist the narrative in a different direction if he ever does choose to respond. His toxic narcissism knows no bounds, and even now I'd be willing to bet he still isn't sorry for what he did to any of his partners. If anything, he's probably only sorry to see his legacy end in such utter catastrophe and shame. I just hope he knows he has no one else to blame but himself. This is the fate he's chosen for himself, making it hard for me to feel even a fraction of remorse for his monstrous behavior. I'm just glad that his ex-partners may be able to move forward from this, leaving their abuser where he's always belonged, in the dustbin of YouTube commentary history.
Yeah. Are you tired of me? Yeah. I'm a little sick right now, but I swear, when I'm ready, I can fly us out, okay?
Got their marksman, let's push.
Thanks for the win. UAV overflight terminated.
We have the edge, don't get cocky. It ain't over. Release Hellstorm on my mark. Identified. Kill. Watchdog helo incoming on your location.
I'm a sucker for nostalgia, folks. Sometimes I have dreams where I'm holding my breath and it feels like I'm actually going to suffocate and die in real life. Someone is putting my therapy notes on the teleprompter. Rehash something that tickled my fancy as a child, and I'll pay for it. Hey, America, remember Moon Sand? I think we can all agree that the only thing this early 2000s classic product was missing was a sequel. That's right, folks, Moon Sand 2.
Stopping us today.
With AI Sand. we made it happen. Look, I may be a sucker, but I'm no fool, okay? I would never fall for something like that. But something that I did fall for was the 2022 musical film adaptation of Lyle Lyle Crocodile, a failed, unnecessary, and grotesque complication of a once simple story. This seems to be a major problem in Hollywood right now, and a lot of it centers around a lack of originality, which we know 95% of the time actually has nothing to do with the writers. It has everything to do with the increasing demand of the cinematic universe, tainting decades worth of stories with disconnected spin-offs, and evidently writing for profit instead of people. This has become an overwhelming issue in specifically children's media since the pandemic. People no longer want to try new things. They just want to keep the attention of their viewer. The quality of children's media is suffering from this, and I think sometimes we forget that it is an okay and arguably important thing to criticize. I can think of so many good live-action movies from my childhood, and I don't know, I just think it's only fair that today's children get the same treatment. And with all of that out of the way, why are we still having Zachary Levi play adult children? What kind of freak gets their hands on the IP for Harold and the Purple Crayon, a beloved concept to so many now adults, and says, let's make him a big baby? This is the real problem with Hollywood, folks. Big babies played by big fucking idiots. Whether it's an anti-vax tweet, something coming out about him following an anti-trans organization, or even just the fact that he likes Jordan Peterson, Zachary Levi never fails to piss me off. So let's add another reason to that list, folks, today as we trudge through Harold and the Purple Crayon.
Once there was a boy named Harold who went on an adventure. And he took his purple crayon with him. He could draw whatever he wanted. And sometimes that got him in over his head.
Okay, stop. Conceptually, that's all you had to do. It's an inviting and innocent homage to the original style and characters. It is truly all that they needed to do. They could have made an hour-and-a-half animated special exactly like this, and no one would have hated them.
The end. Good night, folks.
Just kidding. Of course the story didn't end there.
Okay, he's grown up now. Still animated though, so I guess it's all right. Also, the narrator is played by Alfred Molina. That's incredible. I mean, what a waste of talent. He's only in the first 5 minutes. But we're instantly entering who asked for this territory, okay? Here's the thing. A Harold and the Purple Crayon movie in 2008, that would have been a historically beneficial play for the United States economy. Respectfully, though, no one in 2024 is wondering what Harold from Harold and the Purple Crayon and his friends are up to. It just feels untimely for today's children. Alas, here we are. Harold is now able to have conversations with the narrator, who he calls the Old Man. And the Old Man tells Harold about the real world, where he's from. After Harold gets a little too curious, though, the Old Man goes radio silent, sending Harold on a mission to find him in the real world. And here we are, folks, stuck with adult child Zachary Levi once again for the next hour and 25 minutes.
Clear.
Hey, this ain't paint.
Far. Clear. Far. For 3 dimensions. Oh, it's even cooler than I imagined.
I cannot stress enough how much this pisses me off. They literally stripped away the 2 defining factors from Harold that made him relatable to kids. The fact that he's a cartoon and the fact that he's a kid. The film doubles down on this concept when Harold is followed into the real world by Moose, who instead of turning into a real-life moose, turns into an adult man. Hi, Harold. Nice to meet you. You don't really look like you did in the book. Oh, come on. It's me. And look, it's Moose. Don't you remember Moose? No, I've never seen it before. So it looks like we're just going to be taking a complete departure from any of the source material here, which is fine. You know, at this point, I'm over it. But in theory, this means that they had the ability to do literally whatever they wanted to do with this story. Unfortunately, they just did Elf.
And guess what? It's only getting better because we found him. The Old Man. He's right here.
Let's go. Oh man, it's Harold, finally!
We have a man who is entering the real world for the first time, looking for his dad, or in this situation, his creator, and getting into shenanigans along the way using his unique abilities. This is Elf, guys. However, after a pretty immediate failure, Harold and Moose realized that finding the old man is going to be a lot more difficult than they expected. So, Harold whips up a bike with his trusty purple crayon so they can get a move on. Looks like a bike from Saints Row, doesn't it? By the way, Porcupine has also found her way into the real world, but I don't care about her yet. So let's move on.
Hi! Friendly, friendly! Nice day for a ride!
Oh my god, it's Elf. No, yeah, I'll answer the question for you right now. They're definitely gonna go for it. I have near full confidence that whoever was in charge of this project just wanted to try and make it Elf without Christmas. I'm on to you guys. Well, all these people that we just met end up crossing paths after getting into a car accident. And I'm not too familiar with the law, but considering the fact that these guys don't actually exist, I feel like she's just good to walk.
Oh, shoot. I got a flat tire. Sorry, one sec. Just hang on. Hang on one sec. Hi. Yeah, I'm gonna need a tire. I have a flat, no spare. Yeah, I'll hold it.
How did you do that?
Dude, bro hasn't read the book. Little bro hasn't read the book. I know. So now they have a tire thanks to Harold's purple crayon. So far we've seen Harold draw a bike and a tire. And that's so cool. Also, the mom's name is Terry, and this is her son, Mel. He tells Harold and Moose about this whistle that he uses for his imaginary friend, Carl.
He's right there.
Is he really small?
He's got amazing camouflage abilities. He's part eagle, lion, alligator.
You know what, kiddo? Let's not do Carl today, okay?
Hey, why don't you shut the fuck up? Sorry, I just think a driver looks good or sounds really cool. And like, probably really nice too. Anyway, after a, might I say, aggressive lighting shift mid-scene, everyone finally introduces themselves. Hi, I'm Poop. And I'm Poop. I know. I have to set the bar for comedy.
I'm so sorry for everything. Can I give you guys a ride somewhere? It's the least I can do.
Dude, now keep in mind, here's what's happened so far. Okay, we have a near-fatal car accident, a full head-on collision, no helmets. Harold pulled a tire out of thin air to fix a car that he was almost killed by, and without any questions, this mother is like, hey, want a ride? It's a rational decision that makes me think she probably doesn't have insurance. Good thing they don't know what that is. When Terry asks them where home is, they ask her to take them to the old man's house, and she's like, oh, okay, so the bus station.
Oh, we can't just abandon them. You hit them, you broke their bike, and they don't have anywhere to stay. Dad always said, when people need help, we help.
Yeah, you do say that. Okay, fine. One night above the garage.
What the fuck are we doing right now? Sounds like the memory of dad is a pretty powerful tool in getting what you want around this household. Mom, we gotta go to McDonald's. We're about to pass it off. I told you we're waiting for the scary chicken. Come on, remember what dad always said. We gotta eat more McDonald's. It just doesn't make sense. It's actually to the point where the Lyle premise made more sense. And in that movie, the mom gets won over by an animated crocodile singing Marvin Gaye in the kitchen.
What's this music?
Oh, that's just that would be welcome. Just jump in there.
You're a musician.
I was. I just, you know, when you're young, you have all kinds of dreams, and then the world just kicks it out of you. Now I stock shelves at Ollie's.
Wait a minute. Okay, aspiring musician, shelf stocking employee. Are you absolutely fucking kidding me? I will not watch these two characters fall in love, by the way. That is not fun for the whole family. They might have actually come up with the premise to this film on ChatGPT. It's like actually insane. Oh, $1 billion. That, great. Put it in my bank account right now. Oh, God, I didn't even see you there. Well, I guess I'll have to tell you about Rocket Money, the sponsor of today's video. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that allows you to cancel subscriptions, lower your bills, and manage your money better. You guys know me, I don't like to think, okay? I'm a simple man. I see subscribe, I click press, and, you know, whatever happens. Well, thank God Rocket Money safely and securely identifies recurring charges and cancels unwanted subscriptions for you. You can even cancel right from within the app with just a couple of taps. And guys, I'm sure we can all relate to this one. I'm addicted to buying the entire stock of Crazy Aaron's Dino Scales Thinking Putty. Does anyone else have that issue? Rocket Money's got my back because they'll automatically monitor my spending by category, and I'll get notifications when I've exceeded them. And I can visualize my spend-to-earn ratio by month, quarter, or year. So to save more and spend less, join the over 5 million members using Rocket Money today. Head to rocketmoney.com/AndyKing or click the link in the description to get started for free and get your money right. Okay, so later.
Hello viewers, today I want to show you guys an interview that I watched that I thought it was really interesting, and I want to talk about it. Former Intercept journalist Jeremy Scahill was interviewed by Ayman Moyaldeen on MSNBC 3 days after the killing of Hamas's political leader Yahya Sinwar. I'm just going to play it, and then we can pause a little and talk about it.
Co-founder of DropSite News and co-founder of The Intercept. Jeremy, it's great to see you again. I know you've covered Hamas extensively throughout the year. You know a lot about Yahya Sinwar and other Hamas leaders. Can you tell us why, first of all, he has been so controversial as a figure to the Israelis and the Americans even before October 7th?
Yeah, I just want to begin by saying that as we're speaking tonight, the Israelis are waging an extermination campaign in the north of Gaza. For the past 2 weeks, they've surrounded the area, and they've intensified it after the killing of Yahya Sinwar. No food or medicine of any kind has reached most parts of the north. I'm in direct touch. I'm in with medical officials in the north and with journalistic colleagues. I understand that at least 80 people have been killed tonight in a horrifying set of attacks on half a dozen residential buildings. I've just gotten done seeing images from the ground where children are being shredded like meat in a butcher shop. I don't understand how any of us, whether we're journalists or not, this isn't about objectivity, how any of us can watch this genocide unfold in real time and watch the pontificating of the politicians running for president and not just cry out, this has to stop.
There's a lot of stuff I really love about his response here. I think firstly, it's just that, you know, before answering any questions about Sinwar specifically, he immediately turns focus to the situation on the ground in Gaza and the effects of Israel's genocidal onslaught. There is endless amount of death and destruction. Many parts of Gaza have been flattened to the point where it looks like a different planet. We've seen some of the most horrifying images a person can imagine coming out of Gaza in the past year. He draws specific attention to Israel's current extermination campaign in northern Gaza, a product of what Israel calls the General's Plan, where they are ethnically cleansing the population at gunpoint, and after a certain period of time claiming that anyone that's still remaining in northern Gaza will turn into a combatant. They raided a hospital, kicked out and brutalized patients, destroyed most of the area, and have apparently taken a number of medical workers hostage. All of this stuff is happening right now, and on these mainstream networks, if you just scroll through the pages, no one is talking about it. It's like if you're on social media and following the people on the ground there, you can see, oh, this is a Holocaust. A Holocaust is happening live. It's being live streamed, essentially. So Scahill, even just bringing these things up in an interview that's ostensibly about Sinwar, it's really important, I think, and you can tell how strongly he feels about this and how much he cares, and the frustration, you know, in his voice you can hear. Another thing he does is he calls out MSNBC directly, accusing them of spreading pro-Israel propaganda or essentially manufacturing consent for genocide.
I mean, this has to stop. We've looked at this. I mean, I know you reported on the ground from Gaza. I mean, we're watching a genocide in real time. And I'm sorry, but on this network also, there are people who have promoted propaganda from Israel. There are people cheerleading for those running for office who are lying to the American people about concern for the Palestinians. And yes, we should talk about Yahya Sinwar. But Yahya Sinwar is also in many ways the story of Gaza.
MSNBC has been one of the worst offenders in its double standards of how it covers Palestinian people. In the first 100 days after Russia's invasion of Ukraine, 262 children were killed. In the first 100 days of Israel's assault on in Gaza, more than 10,000 children were killed. But on MSNBC, mentions of child deaths in related terms were 33.4% higher for Ukraine than for Gaza. For each child death from Ukraine, children receive the equivalent of 16.1 mentions on air, whereas children in Gaza receive the equivalent of 0.36 mentions. In the first 100 days after October 7th, MSNBC did not run a single segment that focused specifically and exclusively on the plight of children in Gaza. Meanwhile, they ran over a dozen segments focusing specifically on the plight of Ukrainian children in that same time span. On CNN and MSNBC, emotive words such as brutal, massacre, slaughter, barbaric, and savage were overwhelmingly used to describe the killing of Israelis and Ukrainians, and almost never used to describe the killing of Palestinians. By October 11th, the official death toll in Gaza had passed that of the October 7th attack, but the rising death count and humanitarian crisis unfolding did not get the sympathetic, emotive treatment that the victims of the October 7th attack did. By the end of their survey sample, November 7th, the Palestinian death toll was over 10,000, with an estimated 70% of the victims being women and children. Nevertheless, over that 30-day survey period, CNN and MSNBC used emotive words to describe the killing of Israelis 1,053 times and Palestinians only 43 times. You know, there's been a number of times where internal memos at these publications have leaked, giving people direct orders to soften the language, to not use words like genocide. Make sure you specify that the health ministry is the Hamas-run health ministry as a way to cast doubt on the death tolls, even though they have consistently been verified as reputable. Even being instructed to avoid using the word Palestine except in very rare cases, and avoid the term refugee camps as well, despite these areas being legally recognized by the United Nations as refugee camps. There is a seemingly endless amount of evidence for the phenomenon that Scahill is bringing up here, but the fact that he's bringing it up on the network, it just feels wild. You know, a year into manufacturing consent for genocide, these facts still largely go unacknowledged on these networks. So anyways, let's get back to the interview, where Scahill next turns to the question of Sinwar.
Then yes, we should talk about Yahya Sinwar. But Yahya Sinwar is also in many ways the story of Gaza. You know, yes, this was a violent man, but his violence was rooted in the fact that he was born in a refugee camp. And Israel, throughout his entire life, waged a war of annihilation against the Palestinians. I'm not here to defend Yahya Sinwar. I'm here to say that we can't talk about who Yahya Sinwar was or what Hamas is without talking about 76 years of colonialism, of apartheid, of mass killing, of mowing the lawn, of controlling the calories.
Notice again here that while Scahill does acknowledge Sinwar's history of violence, he once again immediately turns the conversation back to its roots, back to the material conditions, the fact that Sinwar and everything he did were not created in a vacuum. Israel did calculate the calories to determine how much aid they would block from entering Gaza. Israel has repeatedly over the years entered into Gaza to brutalize and kill Palestinians, a policy which Israel itself does call mowing the lawn. Israel is an apartheid state. Israel is a settler colonial state, founded on ethnic cleansing, built on stolen lands, with people living in stolen homes. And this is an ongoing project. They're slaughtering everyone in Gaza and destroying everything in sight and bringing the bulldozers in to clear it out for settlement.
Blowing bubbles as Gaza burns. This weekend, over 100 people died in the north of the Strip. And as that was happening, not far away in southern Israel, settlers held a two-day event.
The whole area is one big carousel. It has an infection. You have to take out the infection.
They set out their plans for Jewish outposts inside what will be left of Gaza if they get in. They celebrated the festival of Sukkot as the smell of homes on fire wafted in from the west.
Everything he says here is absolutely true. It's all ongoing, but it is almost never talked about in this way on these networks. Typically, the coverage looks more like bringing on people like U.S. State Department spokesperson Matt Miller. That same week, he came on to talk about Sinwar, and the first thing he does is lays the blame for Israel's genocidal onslaught on the Gaza Strip solely at Sinwar's feet.
It was his decision to unleash this war on October 7th that is now cost the lives of over 40,000 Palestinians.
In the minds of these officials, these people that must do everything they can to defend these genocidal actions. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Nothing could ever justify October 7th, but October 7th justifies everything. Miller also accuses Sinwar of having been the main obstacle to the peace negotiation process.
In the past few months, he has been the chief obstacle to ending that war and alleviating the suffering of those Palestinians, to getting the hostages home, to providing real security for Israel and for the Palestinian people alike.
This is just not true. Netanyahu has consistently been the one obstructing the peace processes, most recently due to his last-minute insistence on Israel gaining control over the Philadelphia corridor, a proposal that's been described as a poison pill, one that both the Israeli public and Netanyahu's own security officials are opposed to. Miller frames Sinwar's death as like an opportunity for the White House to finally make peace and push for it with urgency.
We see this now as an opportunity, with him being eliminated, with him being gone, as a chance to push forward to try to get an agreement to end this war, to try to get an agreement to finally get those 101 hostages who still remain in Gaza home to their families, and to try to finally push for real, lasting security for the Israeli and Palestinian people alike. And that's what we're going to be pushing for with urgency in the days ahead.
But from the day of this interview to now, Israel has only ramped up its ethnic cleansing campaign, and the White House has done nothing to stop it. The claim that MSNBC deleted the interview from their platform began to circulate on social media in recent days, and while I can't verify for sure whether or not the video was like deleted off of their channels, as of October 25th, it's still not uploaded to either MSNBC's official YouTube channel or onto Ayman's MSNBC website. And the week of that interview, MSNBC uploaded like 10 YouTube videos about Yahya Sinwar, including the one with Matt Miller. But Scahill's interview was not one of them. So why would MSNBC choose to not post this video? And well, that should be obvious by now, right? We looked at those stats before about how strongly biased they are as a network against using humanizing language to talk about Palestinians or accurately describe their suffering, something that Scahill is actually willing to do.
This has to stop. Right. We can't just sit here as journalists or normal people or whatever your job is and watch human beings shredded and say that's self-defense. Nothing is self-defense about this. I've covered wars for 25 years. There is nothing about self-defense with what Israel is doing right now tonight in northern Gaza.
And the other reason this probably wasn't posted is that the United States presidential election is like 2 weeks away. MSNBC is doing everything in their power to get Kamala Harris elected, and the horrors that Scahill spoke of are Kamala Harris's doing. The conditions he described, the endless death, destruction, and starvation wrought upon Gaza. All of these things have been fully backed and funded by Kamala Harris and the Biden administration. The genocide would not be possible without them, and having a full grasp on that for a lot of people may make them a little hesitant at the ballot box. Given the reality of how biased these outlets are against talking about Gaza in an honest way, when the host didn't interrupt or cut Scahill off at the start, I was pretty surprised. I was surprised he even got invited on, to be honest. He has been a highly critical voice in his coverage of Israel in the past year. But then at the end of the interview, the following exchange takes place.
Jeremy Scahill, I really appreciate you joining us tonight. I appreciate you, again, reminding the world what is happening in northern Gaza, as has been happening almost every day for the better part of a year. Thank you, my friend.
And people should know that you reported bravely from the ground in Gaza yourself, and you wrote an incredibly important story back in 2014. So thank you for all of your incredibly important work on the ground there.
Thanks, Jeremy. Thank you so much. Take care.
It turns out that the host here, Ayman Moyaldeen, spent much of his early career reporting from Gaza, starting in 2005, and again in 2008, and then again in 2014. He was known and even praised by some for his empathetic coverage of the Palestinian people, something that was and clearly still is unique to the profession. Moyaldeen was actually there at the hotel overlooking the bluff during the 2014 Gaza beach bombing, where Israel slaughtered 4 young boys while they were playing on the beach. Ayman had apparently been kicking a soccer ball around with them just minutes before they were killed. If you go back and watch the footage he captured that day 10 years ago, it's shocking. Seeing the violence, the fear, the reaction from these boys' families and the people in their community. Sorrow, horror, and rage. Somehow even more shocking than this, though, is knowing that in the past year, this same thing has happened to tens of thousands of families. Tens of thousands of children have been murdered, and virtually none of them have received a second of coverage on any of these networks. Many of these families haven't even gotten a chance to mourn before being killed themselves. I imagine that experience in his time in Gaza has granted him a unique sense of empathy for the Palestinian people. He's covered what's happened in Gaza more than most on the network in the last year, in a similarly empathetic manner. Like here on October 7th, the same day of the Hamas attacks, attacks. His coverage with another anchor, Ali Belshi, sort of deviated from the norm, especially for that time, when he was willing to zoom out from the attacks and look at the bigger picture.
What Hamas has tried to do repeatedly is to remind Israel that your deterrence, what you think is your deterrence, does not apply in this particular territory of the Palestinian enclave. And the reason why it doesn't matter is because Gaza has already been decimated.
Right.
The militants...
You cannot overstate that point. Gaza is 2 million people, a little more than 500,000 in Gaza City itself.
Right.
They do not have the ability to fish. They do not have the ability, they do not have control of their skies. They do not have an airport. They do not have an ability to get most medical care. They can't get cancer care because it requires things that the Israelis believe could be used as weapons. They can't get construction equipment. They can't get anything that could possibly become weaponry. It's actually kind of amazing that they've got rockets.
Exactly.
Clearly somebody's getting them rockets, but they do not exist as a normal people with self-determination.
Right.
Just days after this, actually, these two anchors, along with Mehdi Hassan, were allegedly shelved in their coverage and moved around on air in a way that became quite a scandal, as they are the 3 most prominent Muslim anchors on MSNBC. That's also happened before with A-Man. He was sent home from Gaza after his coverage of the beach bombing, and the story, despite being captured by him, was broken on air by a different journalist. Why am I going into all this? I don't really know. I just thought that was kind of interesting. I thought it was kind of full circle. But I guess the point I want to get to is, like, do all of these media figures need to go to Gaza and watch Israel kill children in order for them to speak about their lives in an honest way, in order to let a guest come on and try to get to the core of the truth about why this is happening? And I don't know. Obviously, there's bigger forces at play, but I'd like to think not. So anyways, guys, just a quick one today. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like the video. If you want to support the channel, I have a Patreon. You can join there. All right, y'all. See you on the next one.
It appears as though Elon Musk's potential voter fraud scheme has come to an abrupt end, at least temporarily, because after handing out checks for $1 million in a sweepstakes that appeared to bribe people into registering to vote or voting in a certain way, he has mysteriously, suddenly stopped facilitating those payouts. And it's not just $1 million. Apparently people who have signed up or gotten their friends to sign up for that $47, they're also missing payments as well.
Elon Musk not paying people he owes money to?
Not paying his debts? What?
What?
Now, this is almost certainly a direct result of the Department of Justice announcing that they were indeed looking into the legality of what his super PAC, America PAC, has been doing in swing states around the country. Up until Wednesday of this week, the PAC was publicly announcing winners and even showing off those fancy oversized checks as proof.
Keep it that way.
But ever since the DOJ notified his PAC that they could be in violation of election laws, there have been no new winners announced.
Goddamn DOJ.
Yeah, it's just another reason to get angry at the DOJ. Well, I would have my $1 million if it weren't for the damn government.
All these 3-letter agencies trying to stop Elon Musk from saving the world and colonizing Mars and giving everyone a girlfriend. So we were far from the only ones calling out this lottery or sweepstakes or whatever that he wanted to call it, because despite his attempts to portray it as a bipartisan get-out-the-vote campaign, it is quite obvious to see exactly what was going on here. And he was barely trying to hide it. The trick was that he claims to have just been asking people to sign a petition showing that they support the First and Second Amendment.
You don't hate America, do you? Well, you love our Constitution, don't you?
Are you a patriotic enough dude? But there's a financial incentive to the entire thing. Currently, you can make $100 for a sign-up and $100 for each referral. And that's in addition to the chance to win $1 million.
And Musk had been waving all this away by claiming that actually, anyone can win. As if the point of the whole fucking petition isn't to announce your support of Donald Trump and provide Musk and his political action committee all of your personal information so that they can endlessly spam and target you with political messaging, and then also the option on the table to just sell your lucrative information to the highest bidder, which is something that constantly goes on. But this is clearly targeted, and Musk hasn't been hiding his political intentions or ambitions recently. He's embraced Donald Trump as his candidate, despite previously stating that Trump would be far too old to serve another term as president. We've already explained any number of reasons why a Trump presidency would greatly benefit him, but the 2 most obvious reasons would be his ability to skirt regulations and avoid paying taxes. It's really as simple as that. Still, the idea that his America PAC is simply doing nonpartisan voter outreach is laughable. But in regards to whether or not the law is to be enforced, that all comes down to, I guess, the interpretation of that law and whether you're willing to go after someone for it. Here's USA Today.
Jessica Levinson, a professor at Loyola Law School who teaches election and constitutional law, said it depends not only on what Musk specifically is doing, but more importantly on how a judge and the Justice Department might interpret what he is doing based on legal precedent. I think the short version is that a reasonable judge could absolutely conclude this is illegal, that it flies in the face of the federal law that says you don't get to pay anyone to register to vote or not to register to vote, Levinson told USA Today. And it's not just the lottery system, she added. It's who it is targeted to. It's not just everybody in America. It's just registered voters, just in swing states. And it was announced shortly before the election deadline in many of those states. The Musk PAC's online petition offering the money says that those eligible must pledge to support the Second Amendment, political shorthand for opposition to gun control measures, and a subject that's popular with Republican-leaning voters.
But that brings us to Thursday of this week, which is when we're filming the episode. And as of Thursday evening, there have been no winners of Elon Musk's contest since Tuesday, when the Department of Justice indicated they were looking into the legality of it. So the Washington Post mentioned the DOJ letter in some recent reporting, saying the Justice Department sent a letter to tech billionaire Elon Musk's political group, warning that a contest offering registered voters in swing states a chance to win $1 million for signing a petition could run afoul of federal election laws, according to a person familiar with the matter. The letter was sent from the agency's public integrity section, which oversees the federal prosecutions of public officials and election crimes. And they add that it's not uncommon for the Justice Department to send letters to businesses or individuals warning of potentially illegal behavior. The letters do not indicate that a criminal investigation is ongoing, but are intended to deter the potentially illicit behavior.
Hey, how's it going? It's me, the Department of Justice. I noticed you're doing something over there, and listen, I would have to, you know, do a bunch of work to verify whether this is the case, but it seems illegal. Just letting you know that I know, and maybe stop doing it.
You should probably knock it off, because otherwise we're all going to have a bunch of paperwork. You're going to be flying that private jet of yours across the country to show up in court.
Listen, crimes are easy to do, but enforcing law is hard. So could you just not break the law, please? And if you did already, that's fine, but just stop doing it.
He just gets a fax that's printed out and it just says, stop breaking the law.
Stop breaking the law, asshole. CNN later reported what many others had noticed online. After the DOJ sent a letter to Musk's PAC, they stopped announcing the $1 million winners and haven't done so in the past 2 days. But they also noted that some of the wording around the so-called lottery had changed to indicate that the winners weren't just getting money for essentially nothing. No. They were actually being paid for a job by becoming vocal supporters of his Trump-friendly super PAC.
So yeah, they're not, they're not doing this. We're actually paying them for a hard day's work of coming out in support of this very obviously Trump-leaning super PAC.
Yeah, give a man $1 million, he'll eat for, well, several days. Teach a man to work for a super PAC.
Yeah.
He'll eat for a couple days as well.
Yeah, true.
On Sunday, the second day of the sweepstakes, the super PAC reframed its messaging around the giveaway, describing the money as payment for a job. In social media posts, the group said winners would be selected to earn $1 million as a spokesperson for America PAC, and subsequently posted pro-Trump testimonial videos featuring the winners. However, several election law experts who spoke to CNN pointed out that the fine print on Musk's super PAC website explaining the official terms of entry did not change.
Which is fucking, it might be part of the reason why we haven't seen the winners, because you would assume, again, this is assumptions, but you would assume that if they randomly chose anyone that could sign up for this petition, and that's probably a lot of people who are just trying to roll the dice and see if they win $1 million. If that person is extremely liberal, they're probably, I mean, it's $1 million, but they probably wouldn't want to publicly support a pro-Trump super PAC.
For $1 million, then?
But for $1 million, a lot of people could change their minds. Yeah. Although, because of that stipulation, you would assume that it would be harder to get these winners out there, because now they have to do a video, they got to dance around with that check.
It's a big check. It's hard to hold.
And we don't fully expect Musk to give up on any of this until after Election Day, when he will refocus his efforts on either refuting the outcome of the election if Donald Trump loses, or finally attempting to solidify his role in the federal government if Trump wins. The $1 million prize winners may start popping up again soon. As soon as another awesome legal loophole for the payouts is made, And basing the $1 million on payment for services only after each winner records a promotional video for American PAC, it seems like it might be enough to protect them in the short term. But at the same time, it does make it a bit more obvious that people are just willing to do or say anything that Musk wants when he is dangling life-changing money over their head. $1 million to anyone outside of the top 1% is life-changing money.
Yeah.
You're talking about a large percentage of the American population is, as we've mentioned before, one horrific medical bill away from complete destitute and bankruptcy.
Yeah, so with $1 million, they'll depending on the emergency, they'll still be one horrific medical bill.
Yeah, that's true, but
you know,
a little bit closer to financial
runway with it.
True. So yes, it's also manipulation in that aspect. So look, maybe there's just a delay in the production of these videos, and they're being very careful about how it's all rolling out. That would be the smart thing to do. And not for nothing, there are, as we said, already reports of people struggling to receive that $47.
Where's my money, Elon?
Or the $100 payouts that they're supposed to get just for signing his stupid petition or referring people to it. It's my money, and I want it now.
Yeah.
So the whole thing, it might end up being questionable on all of that front regarding the $47 payout as well. Like the way that Musk was selective on paying out inexplicably large sums of money, specifically to conservative Twitter premium users during the initial rollout of that whole program.
Either way, it's a perfect demonstration of where we're currently at in the great American experiment. Watching the world's richest man throw millions upon millions of dollars around in an attempt to alter the outcome of an election after buying a large social media platform and turning it into an alt-right hellhole, all while basically accusing everyone along the way of allegedly doing the very things privately that he's currently doing publicly in the open for all to see. It's really bleak, and it's made worse by the fact that we are currently so divided in this country that half of voters are not only turning a blind eye to everything that Trump has said he'll do in his next administration, but they're actively endorsing some of the most heartless and immoral policies that we've ever seen.
Yeah, they're not just ignoring it, they're supporting it.
So yeah,
scary.
But although if you're on the other side of the aisle, you're definitely hearing the same arguments about people on the left who simply want folks to be left alone, especially when it comes to making decisions about their own bodies. Take this recent clip from Charlie Kirk, for example. He certainly doesn't mince his words and immediately divides people up to being either for or against Christ in his Christian nationalist fantasy world.
The Democrat Party supports everything that God hates. The Democrat Party is espousing the death of the unborn, the mutilation of our teenage kids, open borders, the destruction of our sovereignty, the elimination of our currency status. I believe there is a spiritual battle happening around all of us. And if you're a pastor watching this right now, I hope this touches you. I hope you, and I'm looking right in the camera right now, I hope you give a Sunday sermon and you talk about how the Democrat Party believes everything that God hates. I hope you tell your congregation how to biblically vote.
So pretty wild that among the topics he mentioned as being an affront to God, he would mention that God's pissed because of immigration and because we're not protecting our very valuable currency.
God loves borders.
And he loves money.
He likes strong borders.
God loves strong borders, and he loves the U.S. dollar.
He loves sound monetary policy. And he hates the Federal Reserve. And God loves the gold standard.
All those clouds up there, they're actually money bags.
And if you pray, the money rains down on you. And if you're bad, it sucks your money up into the clouds.
Yeah, you can't do the money dance if it's not raining. But look, that's not exactly the point. The point is that he's drawing a biblical line in the sand and claiming that anyone who doesn't align with the conservative agenda is an affront to God.
None of this shit's in the Bible, asshole.
And he instructs churches, this is the worst part, he instructs churches across the country to make these same claims to their congregations, which is definitely already happening, but it's shocking to hear it said out loud in a way that sounds like it's marching orders.
Also, they're kind of not allowed to do that, but no one's fucking enforcing it.
Yeah, there's a great, if not depressing, book about how American churches have slowly morphed into just plain MAGA cults. It's written by the son of a pastor who, among many other things throughout the book, explains how congregants just started migrating to Christian churches that aligned with their extreme political views, and how certain preachers who didn't make things political or didn't show their fervent support for Trump or modern conservatism would receive threats, become mocked in their communities, and then watch as their congregants left for churches that'll just tell them what they want to hear, with no regard for what religion itself is saying. The book's called The Kingdom, the Power, and the Glory. It's by Sin Alberta. I'll leave a link in the description below for that. It's a heavy read, but it's an inside look at what's actually happening specifically with the evangelical movement in the country.
And been happening for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was a little heavy, but like we've said over the past couple of episodes, we are so goddamn close to Election Day. Things are getting very intense right now.
Yeah.
It's going to be quite a ride for the next week or two, and honestly, who knows how long after that, considering the results will almost certainly be contested, and several states have really primed the pump for that exact scenario.
Oh, yeah. They're gearing up every kind of election fraud excuse they can pull out in order to delay the results of the election or swing them in someone else's favor.
But for some lighter news, while celebrating the victory of the city's WNBA team, the New York Liberty, disgraced Mayor Eric Adams stepped up to the mic alongside his favorite theme song, You Know the One, only to be booed by what seemed like everyone in attendance.
I mean, you gotta hand it to New York until tomorrow or today if you're watching this, when the Los Angeles Dodgers.
No, they're saying New York.
Yeah, they weren't saying New York. They're saying New York. New York can have this one, and luckily Eric Adams will not have to make an appearance for a World Series win because our Los Angeles Dodgers are going to do the other thing. They are going to destroy that fucking team and make sure that Eric Adams cannot do another victory lap.
Gotta cut off both of New York's heads.
You're not cheering for the LA Dodgers, you're cheering against Eric Adams.
That's right. Anyway, just for good measure, here's an awkward clip of Tucker Carlson saying that Trump is daddy and we're all bad little girls who need a little spanking. What?
If you allow your hormone-addled 15-year-old daughter to like slam the door of her bedroom and give you the finger, you're gonna get more of it. There has to be a point at which Dad comes home. And when Dad gets home, you know what he says?
Hey, Dad.
You've been a bad girl. You've been a bad little girl, and you're getting a vigorous spanking right now. You're getting a vigorous spanking because you've been a bad girl.
All right, so yeah, obviously a weird way to get his point across, but that's his brain. And we do have the second half of the show coming right up for you, but let's take a second to thank today's sponsor, Manscaped, the global leader in men's lifestyle and grooming. Every man knows the unbeatable feeling of a fresh barbershop shave. Now, what if I told you that you no longer have to wait weeks or even months between appointments to experience it? Introducing Manscaped's newest innovation, the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver. The game-changing tool brings the luxury of a professional shave right into your home. Whether you're after that daily silky smooth finish or prefer to maintain a rugged 5 o'clock shadow, the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver is your go-to for precision and style every time. Head over to manscaped.com and join the over 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by using code NEWSDUMP for 20% off plus free shipping.
So what makes the Chairman Pro stand out? Well, it's all about versatility and precision. It comes with 2 interchangeable skin-safe blade heads. You have the skin-safe 4-blade foil for that close, smooth shave when you're looking to go completely clean, or to keep a little scruff, just switch to the skin-safe stubble trimmer to keep your stubble looking sharp and polished. Both heads are designed with skin-safe technology to help reduce razor burn and irritation, so your skin feels smooth and comfortable after every shave, reducing redness or discomfort. A standout feature that truly differentiates the Chairman Pro from the rest is the Flex Adjust technology. This innovative technology ensures a superior shave by allowing both blades and the pivoting head to seamlessly adapt to the unique contours of your face and neck, helping you maintain great contact with your skin at every angle.
And here's something that's going to make your grooming routine easy. The Chairman Pro, it's waterproof. Yep, use it right in the shower.
It gets wet.
And the waterproof feature doesn't just make shaving easier, it also simplifies cleanup too. Just a quick rinse under the sink and you're all set. The Chairman Pro isn't just for daily shaves either. It's powerful enough to tackle up to 5-day growth, making it perfect whether you're shaving every day or just tidying up after a few days. And with up to 75 minutes of runtime on a single charge, you can take your time getting the perfect shave. It even has a travel lock to help make sure it doesn't accidentally turn on in your bag, which is an amazing feature that has ruined multiple trips for me in the past. It also has an LED spotlight to help ensure that you're getting every detail. Nothing gets missed. Get the Chairman Pro today and experience a shave that is as smooth as you deserve. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code NEWSDUMP at manscaped.com. That is 20% off plus free shipping with code NEWSDUMP at manscaped.com.
Okay, Back to the news now, with a string of quick clips and stories that are absolutely not true or just plain baffling. Starting with a recent statement from Trump where he claimed that, much like Aurora, Colorado, New York City's Times Square is being completely taken over by migrants who are armed with weapons that no one else can have.
But they even are taking over parts of Times Square. They're all over the place now, and they have weapons like very few people have.
They're bringing in weapons no one's even heard of, folks.
Demonstrably false and very easy to go and verify. There are literally millions of people in Times Square at any given moment.
Yeah, a lot of the response to this claim has just been people posting webcams of Times Square. So,
I mean, I have a lot of problems with Times Square that aren't related to this.
No.
Like, listen, I'm all for talking shit on Times Square.
It's a bad place.
But this ain't it.
Yeah.
Buddy.
You know, the best rumor would be if the migrants were coming in through that portal.
Yeah.
They installed a portal just outside of Times Square, and Kamala Harris just let the migrants walk right in, and now they're doing it in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
They're putting portals all over these beautiful United States.
Where are they putting the other end?
I believe, so...
It was New York and Dublin.
Yeah, the other one, it was I can't remember. It's on the tip of my tongue. But yes, it so far has been somewhat wholesome in Philly.
Okay.
Like the person in the other country held up a sign that said "Go Birds," and everyone really loved that.
Of course. The people in Philly, they're very easy to please.
We need to somehow get word to Trump that these portals are actually able to be used by migrants.
They're called portals.
And they're putting them in Democrat-run cities across the United States. And migrants are coming in, and just like Jeff Goldblum in The Fly, they're walking into the portals with weapons we've never heard of, and they are coming out completely mangled and in different new weapons.
So yeah, New York's Times Square is full of people armed with all sorts of weapons, machetes, maybe a mace on a chain.
Yeah,
some of them are dressed like Elmo. It's very strange.
If you walk in with a chain and a machete into the portal, it comes out as a chain-wrapped machete.
Yeah, terrifying. And he goes on to claim that the United States is now an occupied country, and that when he wins, Election Day will now be known as Liberation Day. He also, at the same rally, straight up said that journalists are the enemy of the people. Cool. Definitely not beating the fascist accusations with any of these statements, you piece of shit. Yeah. Here you go.
The United States is now an occupied country, but it will soon be an occupied country no longer. We're not going to have this. November 5th, 2024 will be called Liberation Day in America. We're going to be liberated. And until we get a fair and free press in this country, they're just bad people. They're the enemy of the people. They're the enemy of the... I've been asked not to say it. I don't want to say it. They're the enemy of the people. And someday they're not going to be the enemy of the people, I hope.
Next is Nancy Mace, who is on the receiving end...
Speaking of Mace...
who is on the receiving end of an absolutely brutal but all too common community note after taking credit for an infrastructure bill that she voted against. There are public records. This is done publicly in broad daylight. You voted against this.
Not me, but Congress, which I'm a part of.
Yeah. So that didn't stop her from doing a victory lap regarding the $200 million in funds that are being sent to her district in order to improve and expand their roads. So in her post, she said, "We hate traffic just as much as you do. We helped secure $195 million, the largest grant in South Carolina's history from the U.S. Department of Transportation to kick off the Long Point Road Interchange project. Except, no, you didn't help secure shit. You literally voted against the project that provided these funds. As the note, as well as public records, points out, this project was supported by the 2021 Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, Public Law 11758, which Representative Nancy Mace voted against. In fact, as we've pointed out previously, 0 Democrats voted against this infrastructure bill, and 205 Republicans voted against it. But obviously, that's not going to stop them from taking credit for it, and they clearly have no shame in doing so.
Listen, I might have voted against it, but that doesn't mean I didn't think that it was a cool bill.
That would be the excuse, is that I knew it was going to pass, but I voted against it anyway to let everyone know that I wasn't just a big fan of socialism, which I hate. But also I like the money, because it improves the roads, which is not socialism somehow.
It's not socialism when it improves my roads.
Yes. It only is.
And I get to take credit for it.
Yes. It's insane.
Speaking of conservatives not only attempting to defund vital services, but actually convincing their supporters to attack certain agencies with baseless conspiracy theories, Things got so bad during the 2 most recent hurricanes that the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, actually put out a statement clarifying that no one can control the weather or steer hurricanes into parts of the country they don't like. Which is an insane thing to have to come out and say publicly, but that's where we are. In their multi-part response to recent conspiracies, the NOAA pointed out the following, among other things. No technology exists that can create, destroy, modify, strengthen, or steer hurricanes in any way, shape, or form. All hurricanes, including Helene and Milton, are natural phenomena that form on their own due to aligning conditions of the ocean and atmosphere. And that's, they explain it there, but like really, like, the more you explain it, the more absurd it is, because like the sheer fucking scale of what has to, like the conditions that have to come into play to make a hurricane happen.
The power within one hurricane is so astronomical that it defies any explanation that you'd be able to control.
Yeah, oh, you will just like turn up the burner on the fucking Caribbean Sea. How much water could that be?
I mean, they've technically been doing that, but over a very long period of time.
Right.
And not the people that you think are turning up the heat.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about, and no, that's not real.
So that's
I think I know what you're about to say, and can't fool me. It still snows at Christmas. So
take that, checkmate, libs. But also in regards to claims that Doppler radar was somehow responsible for controlling the storm.
Oh, I wish.
Radars are tools for observation and are not able to direct the motion or intensity of air masses or storms. NEXRAD Doppler radars detect precipitation and the motion of the precipitation particles. The radar can determine an object's location, shape, intensity, and movement relative to the radar, but cannot alter or move those objects in any way. NEXRAD radars have been an essential weather forecasting tool since the 1990s, and weather radars in general have been in use in the United States since the 1950s.
I don't think so, Noah, because guess what? Why is it that every time a cop points their radar gun at my car goes faster than the speed limit?
Even though I swear to the opposite.
I drive really safe and correctly, but whenever they point that radar at my car, mysteriously, I'm going 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 miles an hour over the speed limit.
Yeah.
Not me, the radar.
It is. I mean, it's frustrating and sad that the NOAA is putting out statements that sound like someone who's doing like a guest appearance at a kindergarten. To be like, can I explain to you what radar is?
Can you control the weather? How do I make a hurricane?
Anyways, they even reference claims that somehow solar geoengineering was to blame, saying
what?
Solar geoengineering, a theoretical practice which would modify the atmosphere to shade Earth's surface by reflecting sunlight back into space, is not taking place at scale anywhere in the world. Geoengineering did not impact hurricanes Helene and Milton, let alone make them worse. The Earth's warming atmosphere can cause hurricanes to intensify rapidly and carry more moisture, allowing them to dump higher amounts of rain. Record to near-record warm ocean temperatures across the Gulf of Mexico allowed hurricanes Helene and Milton to rapidly intensify. Natural steering currents in the upper atmosphere determine the storm's path. So, there you go.
But you admit, the sun is powerful. It has tremendous energy that we as humans can harness for our own... Oh, not like that?
Not like... we can't steal the energy from the sun? We can only somehow deflect it in ways that create massive natural disasters?
Sounds like it would be a great source for some sort of unlimited energy source that could power everything without having to pollute and extract fossil fuels and whatnot.
I do love
but I guess it's only really good for you turn a mirror and then you control the weather.
My favorite just obvious take about all of this, even when it was happening, was people just being like, well, I mean, personally, I would vote for the party that has the power to control hurricanes, but that's just me.
Yeah, I don't want to get on their bad side. Not that any of these rational science-based responses will have any effect whatsoever on half the population whose only point of reference for believing crackpot theories is whether or not it feels like the right answer. And for most of these people, they simply feel like there are evil forces at play, very devilish forces.
Yeah.
And that one of those evil forces is the government. The government, the all-powerful government, who can't get anything done.
They can't do anything unless it's controlling a huge natural disaster that takes out an entire third of the country.
They bungle damn near everything that comes across their desk, except when it comes to controlling the weather, which they are very good at. And of course, helping to stoke the flames of these conspiracies was Russia.
Yeah.
And this is in spite of the fact that these hurricane conspiracies originated right here in the good old USA. It's when we talk about Russian disinformation, they're like playing the hits.
They're breathing oxygen into the fire.
It's like back in the 90s. You don't want to buy all these albums. You just want to buy Monster Jams and have all the best songs on one CD.
Yeah.
That's what the Russians are basically doing, what the Monster Jams company did.
Yeah.
Where they're finding the hottest dumb shit people are posting.
And amplifying.
And they're being like, you know what? That's going on Monster Jams. So yeah, Russia just did what it does best. It sat back, watched our country and the idiots in it drum up some insanity that got people frothing mad, and they just threw a little bit of gas in the fire and watched it burn.
Yep.
Axios explains the details thanks to some recent analysis from a watchdog group, and see if any of this sounds familiar.
Russia helped propagate disinformation about Hurricanes Helene and Milton in order to deepen political divisions in the U.S. and undermine America's support for Ukraine, according to the new analysis. The findings underscore Russia's ability to manipulate political discourse in the U.S. The study noted that Kremlin-backed actors appeared to be stepping up their efforts in the final stretch of the United States presidential race. The disinformation was spread largely unchecked on social media by Russian state media accounts and pro-Kremlin networks, according to the new analysis from the Institute for Strategic Dialogue. The misleading post advanced several divisive narratives, including using U.S. support for Ukraine to paint the government as prioritizing Ukrainians over Americans. The campaign also sought to portray the Biden administration as incompetent or corrupt, and FEMA as unable to provide adequate assistance because of the government's purported support of immigrants.
Now, that's what I call disinformation, volume infinity.
Yeah.
And they add that while Russian sources helped promote these narratives, they often originated from U.S. domestic sources, including public figures like Elon Musk and former President Trump, the study found. Exploiting narratives already circulating in the U.S. is on par with Russia's strategy of amplifying divisive domestic issues to weaken public trust in institutions, diminish support for U.S. global engagements, and ultimately undermine the stability of liberal democracies, the think tank noted. By tying the FEMA response to Ukraine, Russia aims to paint U.S. support for its adversaries as actively harmful to U.S. citizens. And I love this one, and I see this is one of the really bipartisan takes that a lot of people have. Is that if only we weren't giving weapons to Ukraine and Israel, the government would surely be spending that money on things that matter for the average person. It's like, no, they fucking wouldn't. I wish they would.
That would be great. Also, this goes back to the same claims about immigrants and migrants, where conservatives are so angry that programs exist to just give the basic survival things to migrants and immigrants, where they're like, well, if that wasn't happening, we would definitely all have everything we wanted. The roads would be paved in gold. We'd all have healthcare and everything. And no, actually, you vote against all of that all the time. So what are we arguing about here? Do you want that or not? And why are you using this one topic as a linchpin for it?
One of the funniest moments in recent U.S. history that no one fucking talks about or even acknowledges is when the USSR collapsed. There was a lot of discussion of okay, we've been spending a lot of fucking money on the military and all of our bases around the world and nuclear preparedness, and now that we won and our adversary doesn't exist, I mean that's a lot of money we could be spending on a lot of other shit. We could maybe do universal health care. We could definitely afford it. Yeah. And it was there was a couple months of people being really excited about now's America's time to shine, now that we don't have to spend insane amounts of just billions and trillions of dollars.
We can catch up with the modern world and offer free education and healthcare.
Yeah, and then it just nope. Everyone just fucking forgot about it.
Yeah, it's very aggravating.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Also, did you see the recent, they put it in a wonderful chart to just show visually the budget discrepancies between, it's specifically about Los Angeles, but the LAPD budget versus everything else, every other program that exists in the city
so
of
that's
LA.
Part of a larger story recently that the reporting on it has been infuriating to me, even on local stations that should know better, where LA is having some pretty bad budget problems right now. That's true.
Yeah.
And so, but it's being framed just gosh, the city government just can't balance a damn budget. But then you look into it and it's it's because the LAPD owes owes an insane amount of money because they keep beating the shit out of innocent people and getting successfully sued over it, and then having to pay off liability.
But even in this chart, it was so depressingly funny because the chart it has the LAPD budget, and then it has all social services, the fire department, things like that are all having their budgets reduced, and the LAPD budget is this giant green line, and then you realize that there's a second slide, and you slide it, and the green line keeps going.
Yeah.
And every other line is like that big. It is so astronomically lopsided that it should be fucking infuriating.
Yeah, I made a meme like several years ago where I took the thin blue line flag and I was like, it's a thin blue line flag, but if the line was proportionally sized to be the portion of like the average local city government, and the line was most of the flag. It was a very fat, thick blue line.
Anyway, speaking of potential manipulation coming from outside the country, it turns out that the betting site, Polymarket, the one that shows Trump is heavily, astronomically favored to win the presidency based on the bets placed in its site, they've confirmed that the whale accounts that make up the majority of the bets for Trump are tied to one person, a French national with, quote, extensive trading experience.
What's his name? Elon Musk?
Hello! My name is Elon Musk! I'd like to place another bet! Do you think Ethereum or just a soul?
Did you see the video today of an Uber driver kicking out his passengers because they were getting mad at him for literally
like, you're gonna lose all your money.
Placing like Polymarket bets like on the fucking screen of his Tesla? And he's like, I'm not kicking you out because I disagree with you. I'm kicking you out because you were making fun of me.
Well, experience with this guy notwithstanding, it obviously shows that there is a bias pushing the majority of the betting market because this one person's bet make up a pretty significant portion of the entire total wagers played.
Yeah,
you're putting a thumb on the scale.
It's not a real data point.
No, it's a betting site that isn't even allowed to operate in the United States. Now, having said that, of course, people are working. It's a crypto site, so obviously people are finding ways, which they probably shouldn't because crypto is the most easily traceable fucking fund.
Yeah, also, you're not getting your money back.
No, it's gone. Here's more from Business Insider.
Polymarket confirmed to DealBook that some speculation about the whale was correct. A single trader controls the 4 accounts that have been placing the bets. The accounts on Polymarket, Freddy9999, Theo4, Princess Caro, and Michi, had $45 million in open positions as of Thursday morning, per data from the crypto-based betting website. Most of those bets favored Trump winning the presidential election and the popular vote next month, along with some bets favoring Republican wins in closely contested swing states. Polymarket said it launched an investigation into the 4 accounts with the help of outside experts and made contact with the trader. An analysis by BI found that one of the accounts, Theo4, had made as many as 71 bets a minute earlier this week, and 2 accounts, Theo4 and Freddy9999, had made as many as 2,500 bets in a 24-hour period.
Yeah, they explain why those bets are happening. It's basically so that if you did massive bets all at once, it would tilt the odds outside of your favor. So that's why they're like, you can tell this guy's experience because of the way that he's manipulating the market, or however you want to call it, allegedly.
Okay.
So earlier reporting from Insider displayed a few theories as to why someone would be betting so big, aside from just really truly believing that Trump is going to win.
I fucking love this game.
Millions of dollars in the line.
$45 million.
That's a lot.
Paul Krishnamurti, a betting market expert and political odds maker for Bet Online, said the big bets could be an attempt to influence the election by generating publicity for the former president and making it appear that his odds of winning are much higher than the polls suggest. Oh, really? What? I can't believe you've done this. Trump leads Vice President Kamala Harris on Polymarket, which estimates he has a 64% chance of winning the election, while the chances of a Harris win are about 36% on the site. That's much different from the polls, with Trump and Harris virtually tied in the latest polling average from 538. Krishnamurti said it's impossible to know whether the bets were a genuine opinion about how the race would shake out. But it is equally possible to believe the bets were placed with the intention to change the narrative in Trump's favor, he added. And they also quote a recent interview with the outlet, The Journal.
Adam Cochran, a ventured crypto investor, told the Journal that the betting spree on Polymarket appeared to be a campaign to boost the narrative that Trump has a lot of momentum going into Election Day. It is by far the most efficient political advertising one can buy, Cochran told the Journal. When Trump's odds of winning the election initially soared on Polymarket on October 7th, Elon Musk, who has strongly endorsed Trump and contributed tens of millions to his Trump super PAC, retweeted a screenshot of the election odds and said, "Victory is not enough. It must be absolutely decisive victory." And once again, just so you understand what's on the line here, in addition to everything else, Trump has once again publicly flaunted the fact that if he is elected, all those pesky criminal problems, all those investigations, everything like that is immediately going to go away because his first duty as president will be to fire the guy who's prosecuting him. Here's the Washington Post.
Former President Donald Trump said Thursday that he would fire Special Counsel Jack Smith on his first day back in the White House if he is elected again, making clear that he would push to drop a pair of federal cases against him. In an interview Thursday morning with conservative podcast host Hugh Hewitt, Trump was asked what he would do if he had to choose between firing Smith or pardoning himself at the start of a second term. "Oh, it's so easy. It's so easy. I would fire him within 2 seconds," Trump said of Smith, who is leading the Justice Department's investigations into Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election and the hoarding of classified documents.
So, just a reminder to please fucking vote. If you can, vote early, do it now. I voted last week.
Vote early and vote often.
I dropped my ballot in one of our city's beautiful dedicated ballot boxes and got an email a few days later confirming that my votes were recorded. So, there you go. Do your civic duty, vote. It's all very stressful, and it does, just the act of voting takes just a little bit of the pressure off yourself. It is kind of a relief to be like, okay, I've done my part. It's out of my hands now.
Maybe I'll do it this weekend. Voting in LA, they send you enough that you have to sit down and read, and you're like, I don't even know what any of this shit means. I need to go get the Cliffs Notes from like 2 or 3 other sources. It's an all-day affair
because everything is biased, but there's a couple great outlets that have voter guides.
I got my selection. Like the DSA is usually my first one to go to because they explain in pretty plain language like what all the laws are and why they support them, and I'm pretty fucking aligned with them on basically everything. And then I'll find 1 or 2 other sources that have their own voter guides, and that saves me from having to think for myself at all, which is awesome.
Much like with everything else in life, paying bills or whatever, once you vote, it's off your shoulders. You don't have to worry about it anymore, and you can at least look. It's going to be stressful for the next couple of days and weeks, but at least the pressure won't be on you anymore. So just fucking submit your vote, have it be over with.
Submit.
And the most important thing you can do besides voting is clicking the like button.
Vote with your thumb by clicking that like button.
Click the like button on the video right now. Do it right now. Make sure you subscribed, and then of course get a comment section going down below, or get a forum going down below in our comment section. It's the new social media, as we've been saying. Everyone talk about stuff that we talked about today, or whatever's going on in your life, something that's not stressful maybe. In addition to that, please watch our most recent videos. They're popping up there right now. It's a lot more of election coverage and what's going on with all of that, but it's important stuff. So check both of those out. We'll see you soon for some weird news.
Bye-bye.
Maybe Thursday or Friday, that was a big deal being on Oprah's show.
Probably no one in history that I've ever seen that's been attacked the way you've been attacked and the way they've done it, so coordinated and systematic. When you see those same people in the past,
Trump's such a goddamn
very favorable
victim.
to you, like Oprah, when you were on Oprah's show, she was encouraging you.
Last week, I did one of her last shows, I think maybe Thursday or Friday. That was a big deal being on Oprah's show, the last one. And I was like one of the last shows in that final week. And I said, boy, we've come a long way since then. What was it like? Well, the concept, it was really like 2 different lives. I had a very wonderful life, but I wanted to do this. The Apprentice was still going very strong. We had 12 seasons, and we had actually...
Has he lost weight? Yes. He has lost weight. He's Mr. Ozempic, I feel like.
The 14 seasons, 12 years. Over
Well, they canceled The Apprentice when you were running for president, correct?
No, they had Arnold Schwarzenegger do it. I was involved in that. I had enough of it, and we did great. It was doing great, but they wanted me to stay. They all came to see me. They said, we're going to give you a contract. They wanted to extend my contract. Mark Burnett is a great guy. Then they wanted to extend the contract. Mark said, you're crazy. Don't run. No. Nobody gives up prime time. They said, yeah, it's one of those little things, which is probably true.
Nobody gives up prime time, though, for being president?
For running against 20 somewhat people. Turned out to be 18 professional people, mostly politicians. They said, we do this, and it's a long shot. Actually, the heads of NBC came over, Paul Telegny, all the top people came over to see me try and talk me out of it because they wanted to have me extend. The Apprentice was doing well. So it was 14 seasons with 12 years. We had 2 seasons where we had a double, which rarely happens. It was just a hot show. And I said, I want to do this. What happened is, previously, 4 years before that, they did a poll. They had Mitt Romney, and somehow they put me in a poll. And I blew everybody away. I blew him away, which isn't that hard. But I blew everybody away, and I said, that's interesting, because I never really gave it that much real thought. I thought about it, but never real thought. But I saw these polls a little bit. And so I was thinking about doing it then, but I had a contract with The Apprentice. Plus, I was building 2 big buildings at the time, and I wanted to make sure they got finished up properly, and it was one of those things. The kids were just sort of getting involved. They're very capable kids, but they were getting involved early on. So I did that. I got them done. I had some very good successes, and I came on, and then I thought about it for the next one after the Romney disaster. And I ran and I won. It was quite an experience, but it was a different life because you're right, The View. I was on The View many times. And
just the way people would talk. I mean, even if people had criticisms about you, people that didn't like you, there was always feuds and stuff like that. But the reality was, the thing turned on you when they found out you were going to be president. It was very coordinated, and some people are catching on to that.
Joe Rogan is such a mindless fuck. Why does anyone give a shit? To this day, he's constantly like, oh, I'm stupid. Why doesn't anyone listen to me? Oh, here's a huge interview with the goddamn Republican nominee for president. Fuck you.
Now, there's a lot of people
Trump's
who are longtime Democrats like Elon and Bill Ackman and all these different, very intelligent people.
Okay. I've been calling Trump a fascist since 2016.
They only
and
now realize it. And not because they became openly right-wing and realize that if they get on the Trump train, Trump will give them benefits.
I mean, Bill Ackman.
This is what I wanted to ask you. What was it like when you actually got in? Because nobody really can prepare you for that. When you're running for president, you don't really know what it's going to be like when you actually get into office. What did you think it was going to be like?
In office or when I decided to run? So
no, when you got in.
When I was in. So when I was in and won and was in the White House, essentially. Yes. Well, first of all, it was very surreal. No, it's very interesting. When I got shot, it wasn't surreal. That should have been surreal. When I was laying in the ground, I knew exactly what was going on. I knew exactly where I was hit. They were saying you were hit all over the place because there was so much blood from the ear. You would know that better than anyone. When they get the ear torn out, bleed a lot. Anyway, so and I was thinking the other day when that happened, I really knew.
He's right. He's already priming him. Joe would know. He's a fighter. Chad, stop trying to pick apart everything he's saying. He's saying, I'm in the know. You have to understand something very important in this interview. Joe Rogan is Dana White's guy. Joe Rogan is a massive defender of the UFC and has always been historically. What is unfortunate for American society is that so is the fucking dumbass in the yellow tie sitting in front of him. This is a massive part of how this interview is being conducted or why this interview is being conducted, beyond the fact that Joe's also right-wing and also incapable of doing an adversarial interview if his life depended on it.
Exactly what I said. I wasn't hit anywhere. With the presidency, it was a very surreal experience, okay?
Like, what's day one like? You win, you get inaugurated. Holy shit, I'm the president.
Yeah, that's what happened. So I'm driving down Pennsylvania Avenue. I just built a building on Pennsylvania, you know, the hotel, the old post office, it was, we called it Trump National Hotel. And we sold it to the Waldorf Astoria. And it was a wonderful thing, but I'm driving down, I'm passing the hotel. You've never seen so many motorcycles, police, military. It was a major thing. I got off the first time I used Air Force One, landed, and we're coming down, and it was incredible. And we're going down Pennsylvania Avenue in the opposite direction. We're going just around one way, and all of a sudden we're going the other way. The street was loaded up, and I wanted to go out, and I wanted to wave to everybody, but that wasn't smart. You know, the kid's a little bit dangerous, right? I mean, watch like Kennedy and some others, right? But I really felt, I think the whole level was so crazy. And so I did get out of the car for a brief, you know, just for a very short time. I thought it was very important to do. And Melania got out with a beautiful dress on that became sort of a statement. Because people loved it. And Barron and we're walking down the street. But where it really got amazing to get to the White House, and now it's a little bit before dark, beautiful. And we went up to the president's quarters. They call them the presidential quarters. And I'm standing in this beautiful hallway. You know, it's funny. Nobody ever talks about the White House as being beautiful inside. You know, you think it's going to be everything with all metal doors and stuff. It's not. It's so beautiful. I made my money largely on luxury. The hallway is like 25 feet wide. The ceiling lights are it's so beautiful. But I was standing there, and I said to the guys, I want to see the Lincoln bedroom. I had never seen the Lincoln bedroom. I'd heard about the Lincoln bedroom. And I was standing with my wife. I said, do you believe it? This is the Lincoln bedroom. I mean, it was like, it was amazing. It's look, if you love the country, but here you are, the Lincoln bedroom, and the bed, you know, is very tall. He's 6'6", which then would be like Barron. Right. It would be like Barron Trump. He's 6'9", but 6'6". He was very tall. Then on top of that, he wore. There it is. He wore. Yeah, there it is. It's a long bed, elongated bed. Because very, you know, people were shorter than you see some of the chairs are very, very low to the ground actually. But he had the long bed, and they had, you had the Gettysburg Address right on that, right under that. You can't see it here, but right there, the original version of the Gettysburg Address. And this is the original, and I'm looking, and I just looked around. I said, do you believe this? Because I was never a politician, even if you were a politician, but I was never a politician. I sort of just started. Right, all of a sudden I'm standing in the White House. And it was very, very surreal. That room was so beautiful to me. Much more beautiful than it actually is. You know, to me, when I looked at the bed, and the bed you could see was a little bit longer, had to be a little bit longer. He lost his son. And they suffered, the two of them suffered from melancholia. They didn't call it depression. They called it melancholia, and they suffered from it. He was a very depressed guy, and she was a very depressed woman, more so than him. And on top of that, they lost their son, whose name was Ted. And it was just seeing it.
I think he picks up the name of the son, but he's not wrong. But also, I don't know why. No, he has, you know, one of his children died before the assassination, but the one, Tad, died after. One of his children died. Tad died a tad bit after. Yes, he was killed by a vampire. I'm actually interested in this conversation. This is something that I haven't heard from Trump before. I'll admit, as the #1 Trump stan, like I'm like a fucking library of fascinating Trump information. It's weird how much he knows about this particular thing. I'm wondering if it's like a deliberate decision that his advisors gave him, but he doesn't really listen to his advisors, so I don't know. To really like beef up one unique aspect of American history. Maybe he just like genuinely does care about Abraham Lincoln. It's like a personal fascination of his. He's not being asexual biromantic allegations, I'll be honest with you. Because, like, Abraham Lincoln was also bisexual. Just saying. But yeah, he got the names wrong. He didn't. Tad died after. The other one died before. But that's besides the point. It's still kind of interesting that he knows.
The little pictures, a little tiny picture. I mean, you can't see the details there. Little tiny, everything the way. A little tiny picture of Tad, who he lost, and it was devastating. And he was, he was in a war. He was having a hard time because he couldn't beat Robert E. Lee. Robert E. Lee won like 13 battles in a row. And he was getting like a phobia, like a fighter. You know a lot about the fight stuff. But like, I went to a UFC fight, and it was a champion who was 14-1 about a year ago. You would know the names. 14-1, and the only guy he lost to was this one guy, but the guy that he was fighting was like almost just an average fighter. Lost numerous times, but he beat this one guy. So I said, okay.
I really don't know who you're talking about. I'm trying to.
I will figure it out.
Okay.
But about a year ago. But the point is that he lost. He wasn't nearly the fighter as the one, but the one who was not nearly the fighter had beaten. He's the only guy that beat the champ like 5 years before. And I said, I'll take the guy that won the other fight. And that's what happened. He beat him a second time.
Sometimes psychological advantages.
Yeah, what is this crazy thing? Lincoln had I don't know, I've never read this. I heard it from people in the White House who really understand what was going on with the whole life of the White House. But Lincoln had the yips about, in a way, as the golfers would say. He had a phobia about Robert E. Lee. He said, I can't beat Robert, because Robert E. Lee won many battles in a row. He was just beating the hell out of him. You know, they tried to get Robert E. Lee to be on the North, but he said,
what is he even talking about? Holy shit. My God. My guy. I hate. If this moves, come on, Hassan, please say something.
No, I have to be with my state.
He's like, nah, I love the practice of slavery. So that's not going to work.
You know, the state was his whole thing, and he went to the South. And he was, I've had generals tell me, we have some great generals, the real generals, not the ones you see on television, the ones that beat ISIS with me. We defeated ISIS in record time. It was supposed to take years, and we did it in a matter of weeks. These are great generals. These are tough guys. These are not woke guys. But their favorite general in terms of genius was Robert E. Lee.
In terms of strategy, you mean?
Strategically. He took a war that should have been over in a few days, and it was, years of hell, a vicious war.
I'm beginning to notice a thing with Donald Trump. I feel like he loves generals on the racist loser side of every conflict. My man might as well be like born in fucking Northern Ireland, like the Northern Irish Protestant. The way he's like supporting all of the worst generals, man. What the fuck? He's like, I want 8 of Hitler's generals. I want them. They were brilliant. I want that. Very strange stuff from him. Like, Robert E. Lee got fucking owned, dude. He got owned.
And so here I am standing there, and again, I had never really done this before. I ran a number of months before I won. I guess if you figured max it out, it would be a year, something like that. So I had never run for office. And I did well. I mean, I went into debates. We had 18 people, including me, and then slowly but surely they started to disappear. We had debates, good debates.
Everyone's aware of all this stuff, but what I want to get to is, like, what was the inside?
It was just
what did you think it was going to be like in terms of, like, your ability to govern?
Yeah.
Like, this is your first experience governing anything. You never been a governor. You never been a mayor.
Private stuff.
Business.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden you're inside the White House.
The biggest thing was just that first moment of being in this hallowed. It was really a hallowed place to me. It was surreal. It was beyond. To me, that was the experience. It was a surreal experience, and then with time, that wears off. With time, it becomes, your place where you stay. And I was doing a lot of. I had two things that I really focused on: governing the country and survival. Because from the moment I won, before I got to office, all of a sudden, they came down. I mean, nobody has ever been treated that way. And you see that. I mean, you see where in the Washington Post very early on, they said, well, now the impeachment stuff starts. And it did. I mean, it literally started from the beginning. So I had survival and run the nation. I had a combination. Most people don't have the survival. They get in.
What did you expect, though, in terms of, like, once you got inside, you had to appoint all these people? Yeah. Like, how many appointments did you have to make?
Well, you have actually 10,000 appointments. Now, they're different. You know, you have big ones, and then they appoint 100 people and 200 people. But the president really is involved with approximately 10,000 appointments. So you'll appoint a Secretary of State, and he or she will appoint a lot of people. So it's a lot. But in terms of major ones, you probably have like 100, but they're big ones. Treasury, State, military.
And how did you know who to appoint?
Well, I didn't.
I was just about to say he didn't, but he said it anyway. He did not.
He was like, who's the rich guy that wants to fuck this? Okay. Who's the rich guy? Show me a rich guy that has spent their entire life trying to fuck this agency. I'm going to put them in charge.
No experience. You have to understand, Joe.
So
I was there 17 times in Washington, and I never stayed over. According to the press, which I think is probably right, over the years, I was only there 17 times. I never stayed over. So now I'm sitting there, I'm saying, this place is gorgeous, but, you know, I don't know anybody. It's like you know, you go to certain areas, and other areas, they may be great. Washington was great. Washington's not so great right now. We got to fix it. We got to make it better. A very dangerous place, very badly maintained place. We're going to make it great. We're going to make it better. We're going to bring it back. But I wasn't a Washington guy. I was a New York guy. I was a New York builder, and I built buildings in New York, and I knew that whole world, but I didn't know the Washington world too well. And all of a sudden, you're supposed to be appointing top people. So
what did you think it was going to be like? Versus, like, did you have any ideas of what it was going to be like?
Okay. Contrary to what a lot of the naysayers in the chat are saying, I don't think this is as boring as I thought it was going to be. A lot of this is new stuff. Even if he's going over old shit, it is surprisingly new. Okay? And while he is rambling a bit so far, and I think it'll get worse and worse, we have to look at this with fresh eyes and an honest perspective, because you and me have already made up our minds on Donald Trump. Whereas the actual dumbasses who are like, oh, I'm undecided, I still don't know, maybe I might vote for Donald Trump. Like, they are going to watch this interview, and we have to put ourselves in the mindset of a person like that. Okay. And I think so far, 15 minutes in, this is very humanizing for Donald Trump, which is not good. Okay. Not good at all.
And what was different?
Well, I was always involved in politics, but usually from the standpoint of a donor. I was a donor. You know, I was a big donor. I gave money to politicians. I enjoyed politics.
Mostly Democrats, right?
Both, really, pretty much both. I have actually pictures of Ronald Reagan and me when I was very young.
You were a Democrat until, like, what year?
I was a Democrat. I could get you the exact, but the early 90s, I switched over eventually. Actually, they had a reform party.
So undecided voters are dumbasses now? Yes. If you're talking about the uncommitted movement, that's entirely separate than undecided voters. Yes. Have you ever encountered an undecided voter? Like, that is one of the most common memes in this community, is like, we love making fun of undecided voters. It's 10 days out, man.
Party. I was thinking about doing that for a little while, but then fortunately I didn't, because it's very hard. You know, it's a two-party system. And anytime you hear third party, I know you like RFK Jr., and so do I. He's a fantastic guy.
I do, but I thought that being an independent was nonsense.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work, because even if you do great, you're not going to get Congress. In other words, you need now to say, okay, now I'll get half of Congress that's never going to vote for you. So even if you got there, which is very hard, and I know how you feel about Bobby, and I feel the same way, and he's now with us, but it doesn't, it's pure and simple. It's a two-party system.
Right.
And somebody, I won't mention his name, but somebody spent $250 million trying to get the nomination as a Reform Party candidate or whatever, and they got just nowhere. You get eaten. You just get eaten. The system eats you alive.
Right.
So it was really somebody that not only was new to Washington, but was new to politics. So in the office of the presidency, over the years, all those presidents, you've had 92% were politicians and 8% were generals. General Eisenhower, General Washington, right? General George Washington, you had generals. So it's 8% no admirals, 8% generals, and 92% politicians. You know, they're politicians.
What's really annoying about this is that, like, Trump did one debate with Kamala Harris, got absolutely fucking cumstered so hard that it literally improved Kamala's approvals. And then he just stopped then he realized, like, oh, fuck, I can't do this again. And I feel like the Democratic Party didn't even shit on him enough for chickening out of his second debate. And then he spent every single waking moment after that doing a full court press on as many independent and as many traditional outlets as he possibly can. Oftentimes the traditional outlets being like very right-wing outlets that he gives interviews to, which solidifies his base. And then anytime he wants to reach out to audiences that maybe are not tuning into Fox News, he went on every single independent media outlet over and over and over again. And I think that has played a decent role in his approval ratings going up, or not rather approval ratings going up, but like his polls going up in general.
Politicians, and they go on. So they never had a business guy, or they never had a guy that wasn't elected to an office. They were all like Ronald Reagan was he was a movie actor, and then but he became the governor of California for, I think, 2 terms, and then he ran. So you never had a thing like this. But I, you know, in terms of me, and sometimes I'd use it as an excuse, and I don't like having excuses actually, but I'd use it as an excuse. I had to rely on people that I respected or liked, but that I didn't know that well, because I didn't know them that well. Some of those people I campaigned against because, you know.
I'm a dock worker and I was unloading cargo ships from China and a box fell out and broke. Papers flew everywhere. When I picked them up, I noticed they were ballots with Harris marked on them.
When you have 18 people, mostly politicians running in the election, you know, running in the primaries, and they got knocked out one by one, but I got to like some of them. Some of them I didn't like at all, and I don't like them now. And I'd rely on them, and I'd rely on other people. So all of a sudden, people would come in, I'd like to recommend so-and-so to be Secretary of State, and I'd have 3, 4 people recommend. One thing I can tell you, Joe, everybody wants the position.
Of course.
No, but sometimes I'll hear, a lot of people don't want to work with Trump because Trump is tough to work with, et cetera. Let me tell you, everybody wants to be any one of these positions.
Oh my, I can't take it. I literally can't take it. Like, JRE is the most boring dog shit on the planet. And I've been saying this shit for years. Why does everyone watch it? It's so boring, it's painful. It is painfully boring. And then, I got moron friends who like watch it, and like I had a buddy of mine who was like, yo man, you should try these mushrooms and shit, some fucking dog shit he saw on GRE trying to get me to fucking take mushrooms. I was like, I'm good. And he got all mad at me. Like, what not, bro? He's like, because I don't buy that dog shit, bro. I don't watch your stupid fucking GRE because it's fucking stupid as hell. And everyone on there is a fucking moron. And for some, and on top of the fact that they're all idiots and morons, they still can't make it interesting. You can make anything interesting for just making it up. They're making it up and it's still boring. Fuck off. Awful. Dog shit. Thank you.
They die for it.
Of course.
Now, they don't want to be known. I mean, there's a particular guy in New York, primarily, very big, very successful, very strong, very political, although he's not a politician. He'd give anything to be Secretary of State, but if they ask him, no, I don't think I would do it. In the meantime, begging for it, okay, begging. They all, everybody wants it.
But what I wanted to get
by the way, no matter what you do, but it's very dangerous to pick somebody outside of a politician because a politician's been basically vetted for years.
Right.
You pick a business guy, and they've never been vetted at all, and they're, you know, the head of a big company or something, but they've never been vetted. You know nothing about his personal life. You know nothing about where he's been. When you put him in, it's a little bit dangerous because all of us.
Is he making a case against voting for Donald Trump the first time? Like, what the fuck?
So you get checked up and you hear things that you say, wow, this is not going to work out too well. So it's very dangerous. Picking people that are outside of politics is somewhat dangerous.
So you're kind of stuck in a position where you have to pick established people. You know, the problem with established people is established people are already indoctrinated into the system.
And they're stiffs in many cases.
Oh, I hate this fucking argument. He literally said he was involved in DC. He was involved in politics as a billionaire with investments that routinely fucking lobbied Congress. Like, that is being a part of the system. That is being indoctrinated. Why are people refusing to recognize that? Like, we are the dumbest country on the fucking planet with our insane admiration for wealthy people. No care or concern or consideration to how that wealth was acquired. Was it ethical? Was it unethical? Through what means? Oh, he's a businessman and he's rich. So he must have done a lot of good stuff, because everyone just automatically assumes that is the case. You forget companies can be bad, not the people in charge of them. What are you talking about? If a company is bad, it's because the people in charge of the company are bad. It's never because the workers are bad either. It's because the people directing the company are bad, making bad decisions. Now, it's not even good or bad. I don't have this like liberal fucking association with like good bad dynamics. It's just that the outcome of a company in the interest of improving its profit margins can lead to a shit ton of awful things for onlookers, for other stakeholders, workers themselves, the people that are living in the aftermath of the environmental catastrophes that these companies engage in.
The survivors. I find that, you know,
what do you mean by stiffs? When you say stiffs?
A stiff, they don't have nothing. They have nothing. Or they're smart and survive. One young person, there was a congressman years before I ran, and I was very close to him. And I needed a license on something, and he was very important in getting the license. But it was a little bit controversial, the license, this particular thing that was being licensed. But I was close to this guy and helped him and everything. I went to him, I said, I'd like to have your help. And he said, let me take a look at it. I said, that's not too good. But I really hope you don't. Anyway, he tapped me along for a long period of time. And ultimately didn't do it. And I said, you are a scam. You could have done this thing so easy, etc. But it was controversial. He was in Congress for many years, like 28 years. And you know, there's a reason when somebody's there for 28 years, you got to be so smart.
Right. A survivor.
And I realized he was a survivor.
And so they never do anything controversial. They never take any chances to speak their opinion that's outside of it. Yeah.
And yet I don't disrespect him for it. So I actually respected the guy more in a certain way. I said,
because he did survive.
You know what? He's been there like for 28 years, and he made it through. A lot of people don't make it through.
It's a good way for non-exceptional people to survive.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
It certainly is.
Trump is literally explaining how being a corrupt billionaire is done and no one can do anything about it. I know. A lot of people don't remember that one of his most solid fucking bars was when he ripped Hillary Clinton, he ripped everyone. He did it to Hillary Clinton as well. But he ripped all the politicians that were on stage with him on the Republican primaries, where he said, I bought all of these people on stage. I'm a billionaire. I bought all those people on stage. When I make a call, they pick up the call. They don't pick up your call, they pick up my call. That was a moment where a lot of people were like, damn, he's just saying the quiet part out loud. It was a recognition that many Americans have. I think he's basically doing that here as well. The difference, however, is that he was the president for 4 years, and he objectively did not actually drain the swamp. Because drain the swamp was an anti-corruption message, right? What was your initial view of Trump? I mean, you can go back and find my initial view of Trump. I said he was an unimaginably dangerous piece of shit, like an incredibly dire prospect for America's future. There's videos of me debating Jimmy Dore on the Young Turks, where Jimmy Dore was, and I hated Hillary Clinton. I mean, I openly talked about how much she sucked. But by the way, not sure you saw in the GC, but the Benchmare Jubilee vid got claimed. Yeah, apparently it's Jubilee themselves that are claiming it. That's what my manager said. We're talking to the YouTube account manager, but it's not surprising to me. Yeah, if you go back, you can hear my opinion. I fucking talked to Jimmy Dore about how Donald Trump is not is not the peaceful dove that he claims he is, and that while Hillary Clinton is a warmonger as well, certainly Donald Trump has made no assurances that he will do less wars. And not only that, but also the most dire prospect of this, the most dire prospect of the Trump administration, if he were to win, would be for the Supreme Court. All of which came to be true, by the way. That was when Jimmy Dore also wasn't as like insane as he is now, which is kind of funny to think. Like he used to be kind of cool. He was like anti-cop. He was, I bet Matthew Crooks was a Hasanabi fan. What? Who the fuck is Matthew Crooks? Was that the first Trump shooter? Yeah, definitely, dude. For sure. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Jimmy Dore used to be not as insane. Yeah. It's funny. It's funny to be like, yeah, the fucking registered Republican was probably a Hasanabi fan. Yeah, dude, definitely. Famous registered Republicans in my audience that are also fans of like YouTube gun guys. So much so that they go and buy their merchandise instead of my merchandise, which you can get at ideology.shop.
So you're in there. You have 10,000 appointments you have to make. Like, so you're getting advice from people. And at one point in time, did you have a moment in time where you realized like these are bad choices? Like some of these people I shouldn't have had in there.
Oh yeah, I think. So the one question that you'll ask me, that I think you'll ask me, that people seem to ask, and I always come up with the same answer.
Yeah, that's interesting, by the way. All those like, we're the real left. We're the real radical left. Fuck the Democratic Party guys. Notice how all of those guys launched their attacks against me and Sam Cedar and Emma Vigeland. Like they launched their attacks against me and Majority Report. And look where they're at now. Look who they are supporting now. Every single one of them. Every single one of these supposedly real.
Okay, I'm gonna match up with my buddy. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, what's going on?
Oh my God.
You sound
What a
great.
day.
You sound fantastic.
Yeah, so do you.
What's going on here?
Yeah. Yeah, so, well, it could be, this is the problem with the fact that I got a new modem and did all this stuff, is that we're never going to know whether Call of Duty is responsible for the fixing of this kind of stuff, or
if it was your connect.
I mean,
Wow.
the timing was unbelievable.
Dude, you sound
but
I've never heard you sound better. I'm like,
Yeah.
sorry,
Right.
But I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I don't know. I know. No, yeah, same. I'm getting a little bit of echo. Just
Okay,
a tiny
yeah, I
bit,
did turn
but
it up. So
other than that,
all right, yeah. Want to give me another test?
Test. Yeah, that's good.
Hey, good. All right, cool.
Yeah, you sound like this. Sounds like old landline phones where you're right there.
Yeah, you sound like
oh man,
you're on like an incredible microphone. Everything. This sounds great. I'm like, It's gotta be Black Ops 6.
It's got to be probably the audio, I would guess. Yeah.
Yeah, they
if
did
we're
some
always
massive-
able to connect, who knows? Who knows?
I mean, everything's been working really good
yeah,
for me. Like my headphone
Good.
issues have kind of like haven't been an issue. Yeah, our connection first try, really nice.
Yeah. I wonder, see, one thing I discovered in this odyssey I had today with the modem. So I was just like, I figured that it's probably the modem was dying. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to buy a new modem. Then I was like on the fence whether I should get one with Wi-Fi routing built in. I already have a router that I like that has like some like kind of protection that I pay for, I think. So I'm like, I don't want to get rid of that. So I'll just get a regular modem and then I'll connect the router to it. And so when I did that, when I connected I just tried to activate the modem. That's it. I just connected it to the cable line. And it would not go online. It would be like, yeah, it takes like 10 minutes and then, you're just watching a flashing light and it never stops. So I'm like, motherfucker. Do I still got you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. Anyway, so yeah, I reset it like 5 times, whatever, 10 times each, 10 minutes each time. It's fucking driving me crazy. I'm like, what is going on? And then I'm like, well, I have this splitter that splits my cable signal. And I'm like, maybe I'll just connect the modem directly to the cable line with no splitter, see if it makes any difference. Well, that worked.
Oh.
And I was like, oh man, so that's interesting. I'm like, I don't know why it worked with my old modem, but not with this modem. But I was like, oh fuck. But I couldn't remember exactly why I needed the splitter at first. And then I started looking at the connections and stuff and realized that I think I needed the splitter because it was going to a cable box. And I got rid of cable. So I'm like, what the fuck? I don't need this box. I don't need this splitter. I don't need any of this shit.
Yeah.
So I took the box out. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm splitting a signal. I've been splitting a signal for like a year for no freaking reason. Maybe that's going to help with our connection stuff too.
Oh wow. Well, I mean, we will truly, unless we decide to go back into Modern Warfare 3 and give that the test.
Yeah.
To see if we have any issues.
Sure, that'd be a way to do it. Yeah,
it would be. But we're not going to do that tonight, my friend.
No.
Tonight we're playing. This game is butter, bro. Just straight butter, silky smooth. It's crazy. Now they fixed everything. I mean, this menu here with the walking and stuff was like crazy jittery and kind of glitching out before. They fixed it. So this game is officially perfect.
Awesome.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah, I'm obviously pretty impressed by this. And I haven't even finished the initial. You get to level 50 and you unlock everything. I haven't even gotten there yet. I'm already this game's fantastic. And the maps, they're all right. People are complaining about them. But even besides, I don't think they're that bad, and I'm still convinced this is best of all time. And once they add Nuketown and maybe remaster some, bring some new maps, this game's gonna be. I'm freaking out. Anyway, is this your first match in?
No, I was in earlier today before I did the modem switcheroo, and I had internet this morning, but I was already, from all the shit that's been going on the last couple of days, I'm like, I'm definitely getting a new modem because it's over 6 years old, and apparently they don't last much past 4 or 5 years for whatever frickin' reason. Anyway, so yeah, I was on and I did I kind of went through Ace's settings. I used most of his settings. I had to change one thing where I wasn't able to crouch when I forgot what selection he had, that it kind of fucked up my controller, so I couldn't do crouching. That was really annoying. So
was
back
it
to
something to
default
do with
or something.
sliding or sliding in?
I'm not sure. I can't. Yeah, I mean, it might have been that.
I've basically have it's my biggest pet peeve about Call of Duty game is having to press thumbstick down to sprint.
Right.
You had to,
Ace didn't like that.
Yeah, well, he keeps it because he's I want control. I do not have to press. I've got it set up where I don't have to press down the left thumbstick ever. like it just goes. Tack sprint.
Right,
I push forward,
right.
I tack sprint. It is so
Yeah, I
cool.
like that too.
And you can also set it up where when you get out of a slide, you can keep sprinting. Like the way it's always been is that like if you slide, you stop sprinting and you got to hit the thumbstick to start sprinting again. It's the way it's always been through all the games, and now they've changed it. You can set it where it's like you can keep sprinting after you slide. So it's like I'm never hitting the thumbstick, and it is fantastic. It is so great. Like I'm loving every second of it. It's incredible. It's really a game changer for me personally. It's just like crazy good. The fact that you never have to hit the goddamn thumbstick down to do any kind of running. So it's like that's always been super annoying to me. Like especially after I slide, and then, like I'll try to run again, and then I'm just like creepy crawling. I'm like, all right, thumbstick, boom, I can like run again. I've always hated that, dude. You don't gotta do it now. It's awesome.
Yeah, I tried Ace's Way, and I was like, oh, I hate this. I mean, get back to where you just push the stick and you run.
I didn't really use any. I mean, the only thing I used from him was that color filter that he was talking about. That is actually pretty nice. It makes the reds pop a little more. But I pretty much sent that to you just because just to show you that there were like options I didn't know about that like he kind of covered. So it's like there are settings there that like I had to go in and look at and perfected after I watched that. Not that I like was copying his in particular, just that like he was making me aware of stuff that I wasn't aware about. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, are you feeling ready to jump in?
Oh yeah.
Go. I've got
For a second there, I was worried that you were in a match, and I was just staring at the menu. I'm like, wait.
Oh my God! No.
Playing a game.
No, we haven't discovered if this game's that broken yet. Let's see. But I got team deathmatch, domination, hard point, kill confirmed. Is that all right?
Yeah, those are the ones. Yeah.
For a little while there, I was jumping into Modern Warfare 3 to do the challenges, to X Defiant and grind. Now it's a switch. I go into X Defiant challenges and then jump into BlackOps 6 grind.
Dig it.
How's your day? Besides having to figure out your internet.
Yeah, I was pretty much just kind of cleaning up from last night, moving musical equipment back upstairs, and
so you guys jam at your place?
Yeah.
Really? So
not usually. No, not usually. Usually we jam at my friend Blair's house. Mm-hmm. He's been divorced for a long time. He lives by himself. He's the guy who plays the drums. But the last night it was just my brother and this other guy that we know named Rich, who plays guitar. It was just a guitar-only jam.
Right on.
2 guitarists, and I was on bass, and we had some songs that we...
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, it was fun. A little fire, drink a lot of beer.
Can't beat that. Am I breaking up right now? Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Hear me now?
Yep.
Oh, wow. We can talk through
That would be
this.
something.
Good. So we still don't know whether or not it's net or if it's... I'm kind of thinking it's probably...
Domination. Capture the objective. Beginning
This
capture.
is
Securing
how good
zone
a
A.
game can be when developers actually
Down
have
A.
time.
The lead is ours. Controlling Bravo.
I'm on it.
Bravo zone secure.
Get down, we got a sniper.
Using A.
Yeah, I've got it on slide only right now, like no diving at all. I was thinking about messing with it because like there's a setting where you can like kind of like change the like how long you have to hold it before it starts like or diving, so you don't accidentally dive instead of slide. You know what I mean?
Say that again. I'm sorry. I was like kind of
spacing
on the game.
You can adjust like how long Like if you're gonna put like dive on,
We lost B.
you know,
They're taking C.
dive when you
They're
hold
taking all zones.
instead of tap,
Target down.
you can adjust like it to being like a longer hold, so you don't accidentally dive when you're trying to slide.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We're losing Alpha.
But I honestly I really haven't diving. I just keep it on slide only. I mean, it'd be fun. I wish I did.
I definitely have dive set up. I don't know if I like it or not.
Like I just find like once you dive and then you land on the ground, you're basically like sitting duck.
Hostile RCXD in your AO.
Like you're just like asking to be shot. Like you can't do so. When you slide, keep fighting while you're in this or keep moving basically. But you're at least like stuck in a position for
losing A.
a full second. Feels like it's probably not that long.
Get down, we got a sniper. Taking A.
There he is.
Oh, and like you can change the different. There's different like heads up display HUD presets. Change the different HUDs.
Right.
They have one. It's called Classic, and it says in the description, it's like this is inspired by BlackOps 4. And I was like, oh my god, that's awesome! Because that was pretty much like. And it is great. In my opinion, it's so good.
Detected.
Like the display for the Black Ops 4 is like the best I've seen. And it's hard. I can't really describe it, but it's just really. I mean, scores right under the mini map. It's great. It's just I don't know, and like the like your lethal and your your tactical and your field upgrader like in the middle on the bottom. It's just really nice. It's just really nice. It's just a great option. And like I also made my mini map. You can adjust the scale, which like the size, and I'm. Mini map's really big.
Get down, we got a sniper.
My
taking C.
heads up display is
losing A.
Very, very nice. I love this game. Slide backwards.
Control zone C.
Perfect. Thanks. I cannot stop singing his praises.
The objective.
I will probably continue to sing his praises for the rest of my life. This is setting the standard.
Lost A. Objective secured.
I know for a fact in the future I'm going to say, yeah, this game is good, but it's not as good as Black Ops 6.
Get down, we got a sniper. Guess that makes us even.
Oh.
Sniper drug eliminated.
I'm like super afraid. I'm like not gonna play the campaign. I need to play it. Like I feel obligated to play it, but it's like it's really hard to pull myself away from multiplayer.
We lost C.
Yeah. I usually do it. Play the campaign right away before I even get into the stuff, but that's not gonna happen.
It's just a good idea if you actually want to do it. When they had it the last 2 years where like you can play the campaign early, it was really nice, man.
Yeah,
I play it like no question. But now it's like I've got choice. It's like could be grinding right now. But I don't know what's going to take to play it. Still haven't played the campaign. And I never finished watching the first campaign on YouTube for the Black Ops games.
They're taking C.
I know Ace puts out, not Ace, Slasher puts out videos about the story, and he put out one about like, I think it was just literally more like the story so far. Just watch that shit instead of trying to watch the whole campaigns.
Hostile sniper down. Move. Hostile marksman. Hostile down.
I just have a feeling that, like, if you don't know the story of Black Ops 2, like, this campaign.
Get down, we got a sniper.
Is this big gun I got here? What is this?
Oh, you got that missile kill streak?
Oh, nice.
That thing's kind of cool,
I got
actually.
a rocket kill.
That thing's cool.
Yeah.
Hostile RCXD in your AO. Taking Bravo underway.
Find somebody. I'm inside. I'm gonna blow up.
I like that. You also get
that was fun.
Kind of cool.
Bravo is ours.
That's a great streak. I forget what it's called again. Like the
I don't even know. I just saw
It's
a
kind of
rocket, you know, or. What is a scout pulse? What does that do?
It's basically UAV, but it's just for you.
Securing
And
zone
it's
A.
it doesn't take as much as a UAV. It's like a personal.
Alpha secure. Bravo lost.
Commencing capture operation. Sniper threat eliminated.
Locking down Charlie. Control zone C.
Hostile marksman.
They're taking C. Controlling Bravo.
Hostile sniper down. Move.
Bravo zone secure. Losing A.
Single shooter.
I just did a flanky spanky. That was kind of fun.
Spanky.
Just came up behind three guys, all faced the other way. I'm like, hey, somebody's gonna die.
Enemy UAV inbound.
Throw a couple grenades their way. Shake him up a little bit before I kill him.
Crimson 1 taking the objective.
Securing zone A.
Whoa, there he is. Alright.
Cover me. Taking the objective.
Losing B.
Objective capture underway.
Control zone C.
Yeah.
Get down, we got a sniper. Hostile marksman.
They're taking C. Taking Alpha.
Threat
Enemy
neutralized.
RCXD detected. Losing Bravo.
And the RCXD, the remote control car, is super loud, very easy to kill.
Losing B.
I liked what Ace said about changing the color of your enemies, like making it red and like have more
the filter,
brighter.
Color filter.
I was like,
Yeah, I totally did that.
like,
It's
that
great.
looks kind of good.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I
Why
didn't
not?
really like test it in game whether or not it was like
Objectives vulnerable.
better in game, but like it did seem like in the menu when it showed you the actual colors, like it did seem like the red was brighter. Yeah, it's the definitely not having any issues.
Taking A. Take this objective. Losing Bravo.
Hotel who's not.
Zone Charlie locked down.
Capturing the objective.
We lost B. Zone
I like
Alpha
that.
captured.
Kill
You're about to
confirmed.
break. Give them a nudge.
When you see submission immediately, you know.
Yep.
I remember when Vanguard first came out, it was like they didn't even have red dots, I don't think, or was that Modern Warfare 2? I don't remember. But like, there's no red dot over enemies. It's like, is that an enemy? Holy shit! I would kill so much.
Be secure.
Oh my god, we scooped that up.
Like had nothing to do with it. We were just better.
It's a good game.
Good job.
Yeah.
Bad, not bad. Oh, and you can do emotes. Check this one out. Left. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Right now. Right. Yes. You can actually do those emotes in game. It's kind of fun. Then you get just it's any like on the directional pad. You still got left for weapon inspect, but the other directions like you can set it up where you do different emotes. You go into third person and then you see yourself doing whatever silly move.
Where do you set up those things again? Those
It's
emotes?
in the barracks. You go to barracks and then customize, and then it's got you can emblem, line card, emotes, sprays. It's got the sprays again, loading screens, and then it also has the HUD sets. I wouldn't sleep on that. I hope we get paybacks. Just had Skyline. Paybacks are pretty. Damn it! Never mind. But once this game's populated,
barracks.
You're looking at the barracks.
Oh yeah, I was looking at the barracks, and now I'm like, I can't seem to get back to the main menu. But
just hit left bumper over lobby.
I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
I've been drinking my claw surge, so everything I'm saying.
Team deathmatch. Neutralize all threats.
My cats love to sit on my lap while I'm trying to play Call of Duty. I usually give them little pets during the kill cam, but tell that they're mad that I don't just pet them right away.
Yeah, we took Daisy to the vet yesterday because about a month ago, I noticed like when I would walk her, she does this like thing every so often where she like hops and her back right leg comes up, you know? And I'm like, well, I thought she just like pulled a muscle maybe or something. I'm like, maybe it's not like she does it all the time. It's just a few minutes or so. And it wasn't going away. I looked at her. She couldn't really tell that there was any issue. Like, we'll just kind of look at it in a month if it hurts or whatever. Thinks it might be some knee-related issue, but at this stage it's like so minor that it's not like anything you would do surgery on or something.
Bion requesting Hellstorm strike.
Let's get a Hellstorm straight. Basically,
Cool. I hear it.
So got a. It's not kill streaks, it's score streaks. I keep forgetting. I don't know if you could switch to kill streak, but honestly, I think score streaks are a better way to go, especially if you're a objective player.
I already forgot like how you changed your the score streak thing. Or is that you said that's not possible in this game? Or?
I'm not sure.
Hey, this ain't paintball.
You can just in the last game you can just go to your kill streak selection screen, and then you can there's a button to hit to switch it. But I don't know if that's the case in this game or not, or if it's just score streaks.
You can't hide.
Sharpshooter removed.
So Trump's in New York tonight at Madison Square Garden, and people are calling it like a Nazi rally.
Well, yeah, because there was that one Nazi rally.
Yeah.
Madison Square Garden back in pre-World War II. There's no way it could be as bad as that.
Launch your UAV.
But I hope that there's like
Melania showed up for it, I guess.
Oh wow, a rare
showed up to any of
appearance.
this crap. Yeah.
Yeah, she's probably like
CNN
mad.
showed you just the very beginning of it.
What was I forget where I heard this. But like there was like some interview with One. They were asking about her politics, and she was basically like, "Yeah, I'm pretty aligned with my husband, except for on two things: women's rights to abortion and immigration." And like literally, those are like the two biggest things. Like the Republicans are running on. Like literally, the only thing. It's like so you don't agree with anything, basically. Or at least not the
No,
major.
she's a woman and an immigrant.
Yeah, dude. Just absurd. This whole thing is so dumb. Everything's American politics has become just dumb as dog shit. It's all pretty dumb.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, if a president can now just go, I was thinking of the Arnold Palmer penis.
Oh my God.
Penis worship.
Yeah, what the hell?
Like that's okay. Like how is that? I mean these tough MAGA guys, and they're like your favorite guy is like worshiping another man's penis.
It's
like,
weird.
Openly.
There's nothing wrong with a man admiring another man's penis. Fine, whatever, cool, enjoy that. But it's like, dude, you're running for president. Why is this relevant to anything? Why would you tell this? It's basically just saying like, I know this thing about Arnold Palmer, some outdated reference that like no one's gonna give a shit about, and then talking about his dick. Like, no one knows who Arnold Palmer is, and let alone want to know anything about his fucking dick. It's weird, bro. Why is he still the nominee? Why can he still be president? Why is it even still possible? It's insane. This country's gone to fucking dog shit.
Move. Hostile planting spring mine.
Yeah, there's no disqualifying, kind of statement that's
not with Trump.
Anymore.
I think any other, I think if Ted Cruz came out and was like, Arnold Palmer's got a huge dick. It's amazing. Like, people would be like, what the fuck?
Right.
But
yeah, it's like Van Jones on CNN said something like, he's like, what is that, they're not taking the same test. He's like, Kamala, it's like, oh, she says, like anything wrong, she's held to this higher standard, and Trump, can just fucking do whatever he fucking wants and say whatever he wants, and everyone's just like, it's fine, it's Trump.
Everything's just fucked. I mean, the one issue that would help her campaign is the issue about Gaza, and the super ironic thing is that
excuse me,
Trump might win based on that, and Republicans are worse on the issue than their Democrats are. The Democrats are bad on the issue, but Republicans are basically like, yeah, Israel should nuke Gaza or something.
Right.
So it's just painful to watch happen. It would help their campaign, and it would actually help the region. But Trump's writing on this, despite the fact he's even worse on the issue, and it's that just speaks to how dumb.
Yeah,
it's insane.
I was telling you about the neighbor who was putting the sign up and down and stuff. So the sign has stayed up lately. But it was funny because my direct neighbor to my left.
You still here?
Yeah. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Anyway, so it kind of started there was a house a couple, a little bit down the way there. They had a Harris sign. Rachel put one in our yard. Then all of a sudden, the guy directly across the street from us put a Harris sign.
Right.
Then that guy put the Trump sign. Now my other neighbor, just yesterday, we found out that he put a Harris sign. So we got this Trump guy surrounded by Harris signs now. It's like a total ring around him.
I'm sure
hilarious.
they think that they're huge victims because of this. They're probably like, oh my god, dude, we're being oppressed by all these Harris wall signs.
Yeah.
God, we should do fascism because of this.
Yeah. Oh my god. But it was so funny when we looked over, I'm like, oh my god. Joel put out a little Harris sign right on fucking facing that guy's house. I'm like, I love it. That's so funny.
Well, at least y'all are dominating that street corner.
Yeah, we're dominating it. Yeah, totally dominating it. It's good to know who's who too. You know what I mean? Fuck. I'm not gonna ever go to that guy's house in an emergency. Right? Stay away from that fuck. Boy, we live our house faces another house across the street, and it's a Mexican couple. And they're pretty. I've only talked to them a couple times because they're not exactly real close, but they're pretty cool. And they put out. I knew they were liberal because they had a Ukrainian flag they flew at the beginning of the war, so I was kind of pretty sure they were, now they have a Harris sign. Yeah, right.
We got the lead. Now hold it.
God damn it, dude. I backed out of the last match because it was going to put us on this map again. And now, but we still got this. This is the only map in the game that's pissing me off.
Not going out. Come on, you're losing this fight.
I love that Woods is the neighbor in most of these matches.
Yeah, he's got a good
Hardpoint is secure.
And if you put wood's skin on, it's just like all woods all the time. You're saying wood shit, the narrator's saying wood shit. It's great.
I'm not losing another friend.
Hardpoint active.
I still probably will finish those campaigns. It's pretty fun to watch. And it's cool to like just kind of like, you know, connect with the characters, you know what I mean? Makes the story more fun.
Yeah. Adler's gonna be in the campaign, right?
Bet your ass. I think he's like mega in the campaign. That's the, like, that's my
campaign then.
If I have any motivation for the campaign.
Hostile shooter.
The only man I've ever loved, Russell Adler. Greatest terror in video game history.
Watchdog helo incoming on your location.
Out.
Die.
Hardpoint identified.
What we got in the sky over here? This doesn't look good.
I think we can still do the marks, like marking enemy. I love that they keep like all the features of the last game that are like really good, and then like add stuff to it. Like they kept like mounting your gun, they kept like marking enemies. Having doors in the game is fine. I like being able to like slam through doors. But like I don't think that there's been a Black Ops game before this that had doors.
Yo.
Oh, come on.
The only complaint I can have so far is that like when you finish a challenge or something, like you know, like the little thing that kind of pops up on your screen, like this challenge is fixed, or this challenge is finished. When you get killed, it doesn't at the time. The timing seems bad. Because I was gonna say.
What did you say? I missed the last part.
Yeah, the timing is bad on it because I seem to always miss it.
Oh.
And I've never seen.
Oh, okay.
You know, like when I do my daily challenges and it pops on the screen, like I haven't seen it once because like, it'll happen like during like a kill cam or something. But if that's the biggest problem with the game, it's problems.
Three are getting killed.
We're getting smashed.
You're getting
a little bit.
Pulverized, tenderized.
Pulverized.
Pulverized.
I really like the frag in this game too. You cook it, there's like a circle on the screen, like around your around your center.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, but there's a circle and it closes in as it's going to cook.
Ah,
It's kinda
here it
cool.
is. I see it. Yeah, nice.
It's
That's
very
a cool thing.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You don't have to count.
Yeah.
First, I don't know
It's
how much you want to be
very
watching
clear.
that, but
It's like it definitely tells you when you need to put it.
get rid of it.
Hardpoint is
Yeah,
secure.
like it.
Launch a UAV.
There's
Somebody
just
was
like
thinking.
little things about this game that are just nice.
At the hardpoint. Hardpoint identified. Got contact.
No.
So that guy.
Activate cashback protocol. That was your ass.
Yeah, there's no coming back from that game.
I bet we both got our asses shit out of us, but we still finished. Relative to our team, we did well.
Yeah.
Sharpshooter threat removed.
I got. But I feel like a big dork, but like I can't see. It's scratching all the right itches. You got time for another one?
Yeah, I could do one more.
I'm gonna run and use the bathroom super quick. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I love this map. Very 90s. It's in a video rental store. I love that. On the Blockbuster. It's cool.
Team deathmatch. Eliminate all threats.
Yeah, I remember.
Lead dart.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of complaints about the maps online. They're like not because Treyarch set a pretty high standard for good maps. People are kind of thinking that this is kind of needing that, but I still think they're good. And they're like it's just the beginning. They're adding more.
How judgmental can you get? Can you just?
Some
maps you gotta get used to, you know?
There are literally just like professional Call of Duty haters. Particularly like on YouTube. Like it doesn't like, yeah, I mean, I actually watched a video from this one guy that I've been keeping up with, and he was like complaining about Call of Duty haters. even though this guy does a lot of X-Defying stuff, he still loves Call of Duty. Anyway, but he definitely like pointed out the pattern that you'll see. You know, there's like these YouTubers or whatever, critics that like, when a game is out, they will talk shit like it's awful. This is the worst Call of Duty ever. You know, terrible. But then like when the new one comes out, all of a sudden that one wasn't so bad. And now the new one that's now out is awful.
Yeah, just switch it up.
Totally. Like I've noticed that pattern from the beginning. Because I started watching YouTube videos about Call of Duty like from the beginning. When I first started playing. And like
anything to get attention, I guess.
I mean, yeah, I guess there's some people who just like to hate Call of Duty, even though they're probably like still playing shit every year. I just want to complain. Which I don't get. I mean, whatever. I mean, there's been things to complain about in the last few years, but these last two games are just like chef's kiss in my opinion. I mean, honestly, the only Call of Duty like that I thought was like legitimately like not as good as the other ones was Modern Warfare 2. Every other Call of Duty I've played, I think I've liked pretty equally.
Come on.
Like I can't say this game's like better or worse than Vanguard. I thought Vanguard was great. Or any Call of Duty. This one is special. If they ever put out a game and you can't, if there's another Call of Duty and you can't slide backwards.
Eliminated.
I'm on a murder spree, bro. Love this shit. I'm loving this, and I haven't even unlocked Tracker yet. Or, I'm sorry, no, I'm waiting for the Breed perk, where I can have an extra perk. Because at this moment I can't have both Scavenger and Tracer. Or Tracker. But once I unlock card. What's that?
Radio Shack. There's a place
Oh,
called
the Radio House. Yeah, I see it.
Radio Shack.
Electronic Superstore. Super. Honestly, it's like, I don't understand why Radio Shack, I mean, like, they had stuff that was still usable and needed, and like hardware, cords, stuff like that. Like that stuff's never gone out of use. I don't know why Radio Shack went to shit. But there, I mean, I remember I went in there a few years ago looking for a MIDI cable. And they didn't even know what the hell I was talking about.
Yeah, it used to be like I remember when they were around, like in the early 80s, late 70s or whatever, the people who worked there were always like super kind of nerdy, smart guys, you know, like electronic.
For sure, yeah. It's like
but then like later it was just like teenage girls who are boys and whatever.
I'm trying to save money.
Like no one else.
Experts want too much money. Yeah, because it's like a DIY electronics like paradise. You like to mess if you're like to mess around with electronical engineering and stuff like that. Like that was the place to go. Just want to fuck around. A little robot or something. But honestly, it's like there's still like most of the
build a bomb.
I mean, there's still need for like hardware and cords and.
This shit ain't working.
Yeah, I
We
don't
lost
think
the
that built a
advantage.
bomb. No, I don't think
Yeah,
they sold like
Amazon.
Never mind. Just,
Lead guard.
yeah. Whole brick and mortar is kind of bugged, I guess. Which I get. Who the hell wants to go to a store?
Come on, you're losing this fight.
Ah.
Damn it.
I guess Newton is coming on the 1st of November. I think that's what they advertised. So, less than a week. That would be 1 week from this day. And yeah, it's been confirmed that it's the original version of Nuketown from Black Ops 2. It's like a 50s, PG-50 style. Should be fun. Looking forward to it. I'm just wondering how, because they kind of changed like the lines of sight between different nuke towns. And I remember, I mean, they had that really nice, in Cold War, they had that really nice long line of sight from the side that you can get long shots on. They did not have that same sight in Black Ops 4. So I'm wondering if, like, what kind of changes, if any, that they're gonna have, what's gonna play.
Ooh. Oh, I just realized that my screen goes black every now and then, and I think I did the Ace recommendation of the inverted flashbang, and I was like, why is the screen? I thought I was dead, but I wasn't.
No, yeah.
I was like, oh, that's that inverted flashbang.
I hate that. It makes me feel like that my screen turned off.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, I think I gotta fix that. That's
Yeah, I just keep it on regular, even though it, like, you know, blinds you. It's immersive. If someone's gonna flashbang me, like give me the flashbang. I'll take it. I deserve it.
I want the real flashbang experience.
And like the sprinting options on this is like the best I've ever played. I love this game. Anyway.
Cool. Oh, well, I think I'm gonna go into settings before I forget to change a couple things.
No worries. Hey, good games. You can always depend on me to be willing to play this 24/7. Anytime you want to play.
Well, I'm glad my internet is back and I can play it without fear of things going down.
And I'm glad I'm glad everything's working super well. Like, you've never been.
Yeah, no, you neither.
It's fantastic.
So.
I'm feeling really good about this next year. Actually, this Call of Duty. Wow, we're in the golden age.
For sure. All right, man. Well, have a good night.
Thanks, man. You too. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right.
Later.
Okay. Catch you later.